United States Steel, USS, presents the Theater Guild on the Air. Tonight's play, They Knew What They Wanted. Tonight's stars, John Garfield, June Havoc, and Leo Carrillo. United States Steel Corporation, the world's greatest maker of steel, identified by the familiar USS trademark, invites you to listen to the Theater Guild production of They Knew What They Wanted by Sidney Howard, starring John Garfield, June Havoc, and Leo Carrillo. And now Lawrence Langner, co-director with Teresa Halburn of the Theater Guild, one of America's foremost theatrical producers, will introduce the play. Mr. Langner.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. This week we are in San Francisco, performing on the stage of the War Memorial Opera House before an audience of over 3,000. If you cross the famous bridge over San Francisco Bay and drive about 40 miles north, you'll arrive at the famous Napa Valley, where some of the best wine in the world is made, and we shall take you there for our play tonight. Everything about our play has the flavor of California. It was written by Sidney Howard, a Californian born in San Francisco. We have brought from Hollywood, California, 3 outstanding artists, John Garfield, June Havoc, and Leo Carrillo, to play the principal roles. And to add a final California touch, Mr. Carrillo is a son of one of the oldest families of California. We hope that They Knew What They Wanted. Tonight's play will be something that you will want, too.
And now the 500,000 stockholders and employees of United States Steel invite you to listen to the Theater Guild on the Air production of Sidney Howard's comedy drama, They Knew What They Wanted.
It is the summer of 1924, and the scene is the home of Tony Petrucci, an Italian wine grower who has grown moderately rich during the Prohibition era in the beautiful Napa Valley of California. Tony's rambling one-story house stands on a knoll overlooking his extensive vineyards and the brown hills of the Coast Range beyond. The story begins on a bright midsummer morning, not long after the rural mail carrier has left a letter for Tony.
Hey, Joe! Hey, Joe! Come out here quick, Joe. Look what I find in my mailbox.
What do you want, Tony?
Oh, look at this, Joe. She answered. It's from Emmy.
Yeah?
Yeah,
On pink writing paper, too, huh?
Yeah. What I tell you, you say she won't answer the letter. Look, she write to me. Look here.
Okay.
What's this? Read them, Joe. Read them to me.
Okay. Keep your shirt on.
I keep on my shirt, Joe. I keep on my shirt, but we sit down here on the steps and you read them quick.
All right. Here, move over.
What's she say?
Dear Mr. Petrucci.
Oh, dear. You hear that, Joe? That's very good, huh?
Oh, that don't mean nothing. Everybody starts with dear.
Well, what'd she say? Go on.
Well, she says, yours received, and I must say I was surprised to get it. I don't make it a practice writing to no strangers without being introduced.
Oh.
But your letter didn't sound fresh, so I decided to take my pen in hand. Anyway, what have I got to lose? Ha, ha.
What's it mean, ha, ha?
Well, she's laughing.
Oh.
And then she says, no, Mr. Petrucci, to be honest, I don't remember serving you no scallopini dinner in the restaurant.
No?
But that don't mean we can't correspond.
We're going to write her another letter this week, Joe, huh? I got to marry with her. That's all there is to it.
Wait a minute. There's more here. You say you have a vineyard. That sounds real nice to me. Grapes always look so pretty growing.
Oh.
I was raised in the country myself, down in the Santa Clara Valley. And here she says, I'd appreciate it if you'd send me a photo of yourself.
photo. Oh, Madonna mia.
Well, she wants to see who she's writing to. You can't blame her.
Yeah, but maybe she don't like how I look, and maybe she won't write to me no more.
Well, that's the chances you got to take, big boy.
Yeah, but where are they going to get a photograph?
Well, you got to have one took, that's all. There's a guy down next to the bank in Napa.
Oh, but I ain't a young'un no more, you know.
Well, she can't be so awfully choosy, slinging hash in that spaghetti joint.
Joe, you go with me to the Peachy Tech, man.
Well, I'm busy spraying your grapes.
No, the grapes, they can wait. Angelo and Giorgio, they can spray.
All right.
You get the flavor, you go down now.
Whatever you say, Tony, you're the boss.
Sure, I'm the boss. And when you come home tonight, we're going to write Amy once more for me, eh? Joe, I tell you what to say. And then we're going to send the letter a special deliverance with a photo, huh?
Okay, Romeo, if you want.
Oh, Joe, you're a good boy. You're a fine boy. You stay with me a long time, and Joe, I treat you like you're my own son. Hey, say, Joe, tonight we're going to write to my Amy and pop with the question. Santa Maria, una bella ragazza faccia della Madonna.
Wings of
Mr. Joe.
Well, what's on your oriental mind this morning, Archie?
See what I got here. Mr. Tony's wedding cake. Just come.
Well, if it ain't a Lollapalooza. You know, Tony, you're sure shooting the works. Here, put it on the table.
Me no get married, you bet your life.
You and me both. I don't want any part of it.
Mr. Joe, it's the holy man.
Ah, good morning.
Hi, Padre. Come in.
Well. It looks like the house is all decorated for the festivities. Where's Tony?
Oh, he's in the bedroom getting himself all dolled up like a plush horse. Hey, bridegroom, Father McKee is out here. Archie, you go bring vino for the Padre, huh?
Oh, very good.
Sit down, Father. Anything we can do for you?
Thank you, son. I came up the hill to have a serious talk with Tony.
Oh, well, don't get him too upset no more than he is already now.
And what time does the bride-to-be arrive?
Well, she's doing Napa on the 9:45.
Oh, Tony hasn't much time, has he?
You know, he's been stalling all morning, like he's scared stiff to go down and meet her.
Well, no wonder, conducting this whirlwind mail-order courtship.
Say, Father, you ought to seen him a couple of weeks ago when we had to have his photo took to send her. Well, the only way I got him pacified was to promise to let the photographer shoot me first. And they were some pictures. Well, mine looked like I belonged in a rogues gallery. And Tony's ain't too flattering either. But this Amy must have seen something that pleased her. The answer is she's arriving this morning.
I can't say that I approve. Joe, I didn't look to find you still here. Tony told me you decided to go away.
Oh, believe me, I ain't missing Tony's wedding.
You haven't been here so very long, Joe.
Oh, 5 months, and it's more than I ever stayed in one place before.
Is it?
Except once in the clink it is. I come here to bum a meal one day and just stayed on. You know, they don't come no better than Tony. He's a great guy.
Look at me, Padre. Look. Joe, how you like the wedding clothes, huh? Tony's one big sport.
Boy, if you ain't dressed to kill.
No, that's not to kill. That's to meet my Amy. I'm the most stylish fellow in the whole world.
Get a load of that purple suit, Padre.
Yeah, what do you laugh about? That costs plenty of money, you bet. And what do you think of the new shoes, eh? The fancy buttons. They cost $9. Ooh, but they look much better than they feel.
Hey, how do you like your wedding cake, Tony?
Oh, Madonna mia. Look at that, Padre. From San Francisco, specially. $12 and 2 bits. Look at them. Look at them little dolls. That's a Tony, and he is Amy. And the little bell on the top. A ring, eh?
Well, show some speed now, Tony. You ain't got too long to wait till train time.
Yes, I'm a leaving for the depot. Right away, quick.
You know, it ain't manners to keep the blushing bride waiting. I'll go crank up the Ford for you.
Thanks, Joe. But, Joe, you remember, you don't go with me to the depot.
Tony's scared I might kiss the bride.
No, I ain't gonna let you kiss on my Amy. Hey, you hear that?
Okay, Tony, I was only kidding.
He's too afraid that with these kissing and those jailbird songs.
Tony, I came up to talk about this marriage of yours.
But I'm glad you come, Padre. I'm a very bad scare. Hey, Aji, what are you doing over there? Aji.
Joe, tell me, bring wine?
Oh, good. My stomach can need one big drink. Oh, Padre, excuse me. I'm so nervous I forgot to fix you a little drink, eh?
Just a drop. Thank you. Tony, I must tell you as your spiritual advisor, this wedding doesn't have my approval.
What's the matter? You don't like the wedding, Padre?
I've got my reasons for what I say.
Oh, go take a pinch of snuff. What reason you got?
Why aren't you marrying a woman out of your own parish?
Because we got no good woman in this parish. Joe, he telling me about everyone. You know that boy you get around.
I'm afraid he does.
So I then go down all the way to San Francisco to look for the wife, and I find my Amy. Oh, Padre, she's like the rose, all wilt. But you put a little water on her, and she come out beautiful. I'm going to marry with my Amy, Padre, and I don't marry with nobody else. Hey, here, have some more wine. No? It's very good.
Something else, Tony, that perturbs me. It's not good for an old man to be marrying a young woman.
Hey, what do you say? You think anybody want to marry an old woman? Go take a pinch of snuff, Padre.
You old scallywag. Why didn't you get married 40 years ago?
I think you know why I don't get married 40 years ago. It's because I'm smart, you know. When I'm a young fellow, I got nothing. I'm all broke all the time, you remember? I got no money for having a wife. Now I got to find a house, and now I'm going to have a wife. Not for the work, but to sit and hold the hands and have the kids. 3 kids. Antonio, Giuseppe, and I tell you, Padre, know what he wants.
Tony, aren't you pretty old to start raising children?
Dite, what do you say? Tony is too old. I tell you, Tony will have the kids when he's 100 years old. From the sole of his boots to the top of his hat, Tony is a first-class pop. Say, Padre, Dio, mio, my Amy is coming on that bed, and here I am. You keep me sitting and talking.
Well, you irreverent old lunatic, if you're bent on marrying, I'll marry you. I've tried to do me duty.
For Pete's sakes, Tony, don't say. Didn't you hear that whistle?
I go.
Well, hurry up. Come on, get in the flivver.
Come on, you've drunk too much, Tony.
You should be sorry to go down there drunk, Tony.
I'm a little drunk. I'm only scared. I'm very badly scared.
Bridegrooms is always scared, huh, Father?
Don't I mean maybe I'm sick?
You'll be a lot sicker if you don't lay off of that stuff.
No, I know can go for my Amy. I know can go.
All right, I'll go then.
No, Madonna mia, no.
Tony, if you drive down the hill in this condition, you'll break your neck.
No, Padre. I feel pretty good now. I'm gonna drive fine. Oh, but Joe, I'm scared. I'm scared.
Get moving. Come on, beat it. Come on.
I don't want nobody to go for my Amy, only me, myself.
Attaboy. Here, let me fix your tie.
Hey, Joe, you don't get mad with me if I ask you something.
Huh? What's the matter?
I got a very good reason, Joe. How soon you going away?
What's the idea? You trying to get rid of me?
No, Joe, it's something I'm doing myself, that's all. You go away, Joe. You know, I've been trying for 3 days to ask you to do this for me now. I'm going to pay you double extra now. Now, you go today, Joe, very quick.
Before your wedding? What do you think I am?
Oh, Joe, you don't understand it.
Say, if you keep that poor dame waiting much longer, she'll go back to Frisco.
Oh, Joe, please.
Come on now, step on it. Come on.
Dio mio, something very bad is going to happen with Tony.
Yes, miss?
Pardon me, Mr. Station Agent, but this here's surely Napa, ain't it?
Yep, it's Napa, all right. You think the conductor put you up at the wrong place? I've been noticing you sitting over there looking kind of jumpy ever since you got off the train. You, lost?
Oh, no. I'm just waiting for a certain party that was supposed to meet me.
Well, help yourself. This here's the waiting room.
Maybe you might know the party. Mr. Tony Petrucci.
Petrucci?
Yeah.
Raises grapes up the valley?
Yeah, that's the one. Say, is there any way I could get in touch with him?
Well, now, they don't have a telephone line out there yet. I'll tell you. The mailman ought to be along here any minute now to pick up the mail. Maybe he'll ride you up there in his buckboard.
Well...
Oh, I guess he wouldn't mind to have a good-looking girl for company.
Oh, that'd be more than kind of him.
Well, you just go and wait there on the bench. When Fred comes, I'll ask him. Say, it's none of my beeswax, but you look like you've been crying.
Oh, me? Oh, no. I must have got a cinder in my eye. Well, that's what I get, I guess, for sticking my head out of that car window, gawking at the scenery.
Hey, anybody home?
Yeah, Fred. What is it? Come in.
Yeah, where's Tony?
Well, Tony's gone to town.
Well, I got to get his signature on a piece of registered mail.
What is it?
It's a wife for him.
What?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, got her outside in the buckboard. Met her in hops. Nobody met her.
Well, didn't you pass Tony on the road?
Nope, never seen a sign of him.
Well, he must have took the shortcut. But how did he ever miss her?
Search me. Oh, here she is.
Well, how do you do? I certainly expected somebody'd be down there to meet me. I must say it ain't my idea of the way a gentleman ought to act, leaving me hung up down there at that depot. Well, as I told this postman here, I decided to give you the benefit of the doubt. Very often, plans just don't work out, and... Say, he was awful nice bringing me up here.
Only too pleased to be of service, ma'am. Well, I got to get out on my deliveries.
Well, thanks a million for the lift.
Oh, don't mention it. Goodbye, ma'am.
Bye.
Where's your trunk at?
Setting out on the station platform.
We'll send down for it.
Well, thanks. Gee, I hope nothing happens to it. My wedding dress is in that trunk. I bet you didn't expect me to bring a wedding dress, did you? I didn't expect to myself. I don't know why I did, but I did. I just blew myself. I said you only get married once, and I got a veil, too. I got the whole works. Gee, excuse me if I'm talking too much. I guess I'm kind of nervous. Naturally, a girl gets kind of fussed coming off like this to marry a man she ain't never even seen. Huh?
Yeah, I know how you feel.
My, will you look at the decorations? Say, did you folks go and do all this just for the wedding?
Sure we did.
A regular Italian wedding.
What do you think of the cake here?
And that? Well, now, if that ain't the cutest ever. Say, it was awful nice of you to think of that. Oh, I can see right now I'm going to like it here. That's the prettiest view out there. Is them all grapevines?
Yeah.
You know, this is hilly and nice around here. Made me think of where I used to live.
Where was that?
In the Santa Clara. You know, I wrote you.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
We had a big place in the Santa Clara. 90 acres in prunes and 50 acres in apricots. I guess I'll sit down. I'm kind of weak in the knees.
Yeah, take that rocker.
Thanks. There ought to have been good money in prunes and apricots, but the prunes didn't do so good, and the apricots got the leaf curl.
You're quite a farmer, huh?
Well, my old man was, but he got to drinking.
Well, that's bad.
So we lost our ranch after my mother died, but I used to love it there. In the spring when the blossoms was out, I used to climb up in the windmill at night when there was a moon. You never saw such a pretty sight as them blossoms in the moonlight. You could see for miles and miles all around. For miles and miles.
It must have been pretty.
You ever been in the Santa Clara?
Sure, I worked there before I come here.
No. Now, what did you used to do?
Cherries and hops. Big ranch, too. Bigger than this.
Well, now you don't say.
Picked fruit up and down the coast since I was knee-high to a duck.
Say, you know, you don't talk one bit like an Italian.
I ain't, only by descent. I was born in Frisco.
I'm Swiss by descent myself. My father was born in Switzerland, and my grandfather on my mother's side. He was born there, too. I don't know what that makes me. Swiss cheese, I guess. Yes, sir, that certainly is some view from your porch.
You like the country, huh?
Well, after 2 years of working in a spaghetti joint. Oh, not that I don't like Italians. They always left me alone. Guess it wouldn't have done them much good getting fresh with me at that. Say, I'm getting pretty confidential, huh?
Oh, go right ahead, kid.
I guess I ain't got much reason for being shy with you at that. I wouldn't have never dreamed I was going to marry an Italian, though. But I guess I just jumped at the chance. Honest, I got so tired of things. I used to think I just couldn't keep on much longer.
Well, that's all over now.
Oh, I usually know which side my bread's buttered on. I just said to myself, he looks all right in his picture, and anyway, it can't be no worse than slinging hash. Hey, who's that looking in out there?
Huh? Oh, Aji, come in, pay your respects.
How do, Missy?
Well, how do you do?
Aji's our cook.
You don't say. Well, now, listen, I didn't know I drew a chef. You didn't tell me that.
Oh, very good cook.
Take a suitcase in the bedroom, Aji.
Oh, very good.
Say, I can't help but keep wondering what you think of me coming all the way up here like I did all by myself to marry somebody I ain't never even seen, only his photograph.
Well, you couldn't have picked a better man.
Well, say, don't get a swelled head, will you?
Who, me?
Oh, no, nobody. I hope you're okay, that's all. Believe me, if I thought this wasn't a permanent offer, I wouldn't be here. I mean business. I hope you do.
Me?
Well, now, I certainly ain't referring to the Chinaman.
Say, who do you think
don't get sore. The minute I came in, I knew I was all right. Honest, I feel just as much at home here as if we was old friends. Life sure is funny, though. Lucky for me, I can say that now and laugh when I say it. I ain't always been so good at laughing. I guess we'll get used to each other in time. Don't you think we will, Tony?
Tony? Say, I ain't...
Hey, go!
It's an ambulance.
They bring Martha home.
What's the matter, Tony?
I knew I should have went instead. He wasn't in no condition to. But what is it, Doc?
Here, men. Easy now, easy. Carry him in the house.
Easy. Is he bad, Doc?
Both legs above the knees, compound fractures.
Well, why didn't you take him to the hospital?
I wanted to, but he raised such a fuss. It's It's a miracle he's not dead as a mackerel. That Ford plowed right through the bridge.
Well, the poor old devil.
Must have fallen 20 feet at least. No telling how long he was lying there. A neighbor called my office.
I never seen such a wreck. The car was turned upside down.
Found him lying in over a foot of water. You better lend a hand, Joe.
Sure.
Get him in there, give him another needle, and clean up his cuts.
Yeah, put him in his room. Archie, hurry up. Turn down the bed covers. Now, stay.
I don't get it. I don't get it. What's happened?
2 broken legs, lady. That's what happened.
He's coming too, Doc.
That's you, Joe, huh?
Yeah, it's me, old-timer. Amy is here.
Amy? Amy is all right, Joe?
Sure.
You've been making everything all right?
Sure, everything's fine.
Where is my Amy? Oh, Amy. Tony's got too much pain, Amy. But don't be standing way over there, Amy. Come over here and shake our hands. You ain't mad with me, Amy? Amy ain't mad with me, Joe?
Nobody's mad. Don't you worry about anything.
Anyway, having the wedding just the same, huh?
Sure we will.
All right, boys. Take him on in the bedroom.
Oh, Amy. Doc, you fix me up quick.
Gee, this is tough on you. Sure tough on you.
Who is that old guy?
That's Tony.
That old guy ain't Tony. That old guy.
Yeah, it is.
No.
Well, it's too bad Tony never got to meet you at the depot. It's too bad he wasn't there when you come.
Say, I'm getting out of here. Well, of all the...
No, listen, that ain't Tony's fault. He had an accident.
Well, honest, this here's the worst I ever heard. The very worst. I can't get over it. Well, of all the dirty, low-down tricks that was ever played on a girl, this is the worst.
Well, what are you doing sitting out there like you had a ramrod in your back?
I'm waiting for someone to take me back to the depot.
Come on, I'll take you if you're so hipped on running out on a poor guy that's just been banged up.
Say, you got some nerve being sore at me.
Come on, what's your squawk?
All right. I'll show you what my squawk is. Is this here a photo of you, or ain't it?
Wait a minute. Where'd you get that?
It come to Frisco in the mail to me, that's where.
Say, Tony didn't send you this picture of me, did he? Tell me, did Tony send you this?
Ain't I just told you?
Well, you must have been plumb crazy. He was so dead gone on you, he was afraid you wouldn't have nothing to do with it, an old man like him.
And I suppose you never knew nothing about it.
Well, honest, Amy, it's the God's truth. I admit I wrote them letters for Tony, but it was only because he didn't write English as good as I.
Oh, that ain't no excuse.
Oh, you're right. It's a dirty trick, the dirtiest trick I'd ever heard. And he's crazy to think he can get away with it. Only Tony never meant no harm. He ain't nothing but a big-hearted kid. Look, I'll do everything I can to square it. And you can go back to Frisco and...
can I? And what do you expect me to do when I get there? Ain't I thrown up my job? Do you think jobs is easy for a girl to get? And ain't I spent every last cent I got on my trousseau?
I'll make Tony square that, too. Now, here, crying won't help.
If I gotta go back and wait on tables, what do you suppose all them girls will say when they see me? And I ain't even got the price of my ticket.
I told you, we'll fix that.
I ain't going back. I can't. That's all there is to it.
It's up to you, sister.
Why should I go? I like the country. This place suits me all right. It's just what I was looking for. I'm here, and I may as well stick. I guess he ain't so bad at that. I guess I could do a lot worse. If he wants to marry me, I'm game. I'm game to see it through. It's nice up here.
You're nice, too.
Now, look here, Mr. Joe. Now, I'm staying. I gotta ask you not to get too personal.
In a moment, we will continue with the second act of They Knew What They Wanted, produced by the Theater Guild on the air and sponsored by the United States Steel Corporation. And here speaking for United States Steel is George Hicks.
Good evening. Tonight I'm talking to you from San Francisco, and I hope that all of you will be able to visit this beautiful city, so well named the Queen City of the Pacific. San Francisco has a magnificent and colorful history. But what's more important, she is today, along with the rest of the Pacific coast, well on our way to an exciting economic and industrial future. Today, as in the past, we of the United States Steel Corporation are proud of our part in this expansion. Right now, for example, our western subsidiary, the Columbia Steel Company, is busy building a $25 million addition to the present facilities of its 400-acre steel mill at Pittsburgh, California, just 40 miles up the bay from San Francisco. This new addition is an ultra-modern tin plate and steel sheet mill, which will greatly increase the supply of these much-needed steel products, especially a vitally necessary tin plate for the great can-making industry of the Pacific Coast. Perhaps I should tell you something about tin plate and why this product is so important to you. Next time you're in your favorite grocery store, take a look at the shelves of canned vegetables, meats, soups, and other foods. Then remember that each of those cans is made of approximately 99% steel and 1% tin coating, according to specifications dictated by the research departments of the can-making industry. All those rows of cans on your grocer's shelves may seem to you like a large supply, but let me call on your imagination for a moment. Last year, the can makers out here on the Pacific Coast produced 5 billion cans. That's enough cans to circle the entire world 16 times. And this means that the ever-growing Pacific Coast now requires for its can-making industry alone nearly 500,000 tons of tin plate each year. Much of this tonnage will be produced right here in the West by Columbia Steel Company, which in the future, as in the past, will continue to be a vital member of the United States Steel Corporation's family of companies, bringing you better steels and better products of steel for a better America.
We pause now for station identification.
Your station is KECA, Los Angeles.
You are listening to the Theater Guild on the Air, sponsored by the industrial family that serves the nation, United States Steel. Tonight's play, Sidney Howard's powerful comedy drama, They Knew What They Wanted, stars John Garfield, June Havoc, and Leo Carrillo. And now the curtain rises on the second act.
That same night, under a brilliant California moon, the festa, the feast before the wedding, which Joe had planned for his boss, is in full swing. But poor Tony himself lies on a cot in the living room of his ranch house, his legs encased in plaster casts. The doctor sits beside him.
Doc, the most beautiful sound in this world is laughing people. Everybody having a big time at Tony's festa. But Tony, you think Miami like it, Doc? You think she have fun? Donna mia, but I want us to go out there so bad.
Now, look here, Tony. If you don't like quiet, I'll ship you off to the hospital where you belong. Half of what you went through this morning would have killed an ordinary man.
Oh, that's all right. Tony is very sick, very sick.
It's after midnight. High time those coyotes went home.
Hey, what are you talking about? That fellow Luigi is no coyote. He's a fine music artist.
It's a marvel to me that man has any lungs left. He's been howling for 5 hours.
Hey, Doc, you think maybe my legs is going to be well next week?
Next week? I only hope, Tony, that you may be well in 6 months.
6 months? Porca miseria.
Tony, you don't seem to realize what a bad smash-up you had. Both tibia and fibula are fractured in the right leg.
Fibula? What do you mean?
And you talking about getting married today. You're incorrigible.
Oh, go take a pinch of snuff. Tomorrow I'm going to marry my Emmy, and nobody is going to stop me.
I can see your bride's going to have her hands full taking care of you.
Well, how you making out, Tony?
Oh, very sick, Joe. Is the festa going good?
Oh, going like a house afire. The way they're lapping up the vino, it's a wonder everybody ain't stewed to the gill.
Hey, no. Italian people, they don't get stews. Only happy. Is my Emmy having a big time, Joe?
Oh, sure she is. Everybody's treating her like a queen.
Oh, that's good. Hey, Doc, will you excuse me? I want to talk with you, Joe.
Tony, I'm putting you in your bedroom to sleep in 10 minutes.
Oh, just a little while more longer, Doc. Please.
I won't be responsible unless you obey me.
I'll handle this old bird for you, Doc. What's on your mind, Tony?
Oh, Joe, it's Amy.
What are you squawking about? She's marrying you tomorrow, ain't she?
Yeah, but I'm scared, Joe. I love my Amy, but she don't love me.
Give her time, can't you? She wouldn't have stayed here if she wasn't going to go through with her end of the bargain.
Say, Joe, she was a pretty burn up this morning and mad.
Tell you, everything is all right, Tony. Just be good to her and take care of her. That's what Amy needs, the poor kid.
Well, I'm ready to take care of her like anything.
You know what Amy was telling me? She's been having a hard life for a girl.
Oh.
And if she comes through straight like she did, well, there ain't nobody do any credit, just only herself. And that's a fact.
Hey, Joe, you're a smart fellow, huh?
Well, I don't know how smart I am, Tony. But you can't tell me much about dames, you can't. Believe me, a girl gets a lousy deal any way you look at it. Now, take a fella now, a young fella like me, see?
Yeah.
It does him good to knock around, have troubles and all, but a girl can't stand it because it ain't in her nature. I've been making a study of dames from San Diego to Seattle. And what most of them is after is a home.
Yeah.
You take my advice and make everything easy and comfortable for Amy, and it'll work out nice as pie. You're lucky you picked a girl like Amy.
No, it's no good, Joe. It's no good.
For Pete's sakes, Tony.
Joe, I've been a very bad sinner, and God is going to get me for sure. He's not finished with me yet, Joe. Just for playing that dirty trick with that picture on Amy. What do you think make me do such a thing, Joe?
Search me, he always was crazy.
God is going to fix me plenty. That's all right.
I seen God let a lot of worse guys than you get by.
You think, Joe? Oh, look, Joe, look. Look what I got.
Boy, them's what I call regular earrings.
Those are real diamonds. They cost $400. I guess my Amy going to like them pretty good, huh? You go call her, Joe. I'll give them her right away.
Oh, boy, those will make her sit up and beg. I'll be right back. Oh, here you are, beautiful.
Listen, if you can't speak to me proper...
You needn't be so hard-nosed. I'm only trying to be friendly.
Well, maybe you are. But I don't believe in letting a fella get familiar. When I only met up with him this morning.
You're a suspicious little dame, aren't you?
And anyhow, I don't think Tony'd like it.
Well, have it your way, sister, if you want to be so standoffish. Come on. Tony's asking for you, Miss Tobin. Does that suit you?
Yeah. Yes, it does. Certainly does. You want me, Tony?
Amy, come over here. Do you like the earrings, Amy?
Earrings? Well, now, who don't if they're pretty?
Well, go over closer.
Hey, come over here, Amy. I'm going to give you my marriage present for you.
For me? Honest? Well, gee, ain't that nice and thoughtful of you.
Look, Amy. It's for making you happy.
Oh.
Yep. Lay back 400 smackers.
Oh, you didn't need to go and do that. Oh, gee, real diamonds.
Hey, don't cry. That's enough for making you cry, the earrings.
Oh, say, ain't they beautiful? Oh, I never dreamed of ever owning anything so gorgeous.
Hey, Amy, you ain't going to be mad with it, Tony, for being so crazy, wild with the love. Eh? My Amy's so good, so pretty. My Amy,
Nothing. I ain't mad.
You see, Tony, everything's hunky-dory.
Say, what's the idea? What do you got to do with this? You're always butting in. And come to think of it, I don't like your picture lying here on this table. Here, take it.
Santa Maria, she got a temper, Joe.
Take it, I tell you. I don't want it around.
Tear up the picture, Joe. Tear him up. Is it better?
No, give it to me. I'll tear it up. Now, we don't ever have to think of that again.
Madonna, that's very good, eh?
There ain't no use of keeping things around to remind you of what you want to forget. Start in over again, new and fresh. That's my way. No memories for me. No hard feelings. It's a great life if you don't weaken.
Well, Tony, I guess you don't need to worry no more after that.
Hey, now you know why I've been wanting you to go away, Joe? That picture photograph. But everything is fixed now, and you don't have to go.
Well, you don't need me around. You got Amy to take care of you.
Oh, dear me, that's no good. You go away and leave nobody for boss of the boys in the vineyard. You don't let him go, Amy.
I got nothing to say about it.
I gotta leave, Tony.
Oh, he got them itchy feet. You tell her, Joe, stay here, Amy.
It must be pretty swell being free and independent and beating it around the country just however you feel like. Calling in at a farmhouse for a plate of cold stew and a slab of last Sunday's pie. I guess it's a fine life if you like it. Only I never had much use for hobos myself.
Sure. I'm a hobo, and I'm proud of it. I'll bet when Amy lived down in the Santa Clara, she used to keep a dog for fellas like me.
Ah, Joe, go take a pinch of snuff.
All right, you two, go on out of here. Tony must get some sleep now.
Oh, my leg is paying too much, Doc.
Well, I've got something that'll make you sleep. Here, take this.
I no can drink water, Doc.
I don't think water will kill you.
Oh, hey, all right, Doc. Amy,
Hey, man, why you look so sad?
Do you blame her? She had a tough day.
I ain't sad, Tony. It was a swell party, and everybody had a swell time. And when Tony's good and strong, Doctor, and don't have to be in bed all the time, we'll have that Chinaman carry him out in the sun, and I'll sit beside him and read the paper out loud, and we'll look at the view and feel that nice wind and enjoy ourselves. And if Joe goes away, why, he goes away, that's all. Don't nobody fret about little Amy. She's going to be all right.
Attention, everybody! Attention! Quiet, please. It's late. The doc just put Tony to sleep, and he wants you to go home so he can rest. And don't forget, you're all invited back tomorrow for the wedding. Plenty eats and vino.
Wait a minute. I want to tell you all good night. I had the very best welcome that ever was, and I'm the happiest girl in the world because you've been so good to me.
They say thank you right back. All right, beat it now. Bono not to run along. Come along. Come back tomorrow. That's the big day.
It's all just like in the movies, ain't it?
It's late. You better go in and get some sleep yourself.
All right.
Well, good night.
Good night.
Just keep a stiff upper lip. Everything's going to turn out okay for you.
You certainly think you know everything, don't you?
Well, what's got up your back now?
I'll let go. I guess I just don't feel so good. This cool air ought to help.
Well, maybe it's the vino. You know, I don't agree with some folks.
No, I guess I'm just nervous.
Well, no wonder. Taking a big and important step like getting married.
Well, everything's so new and different.
But I wouldn't let it get me down if I were you.
Don't you worry none about me, Mr. Joe.
That's the spirit. Good night.
Good night.
Say, look here, Amy.
I don't remember giving you leave to use my Christian name.
It's a pretty name. Are you ashamed of it?
No, I'm not ashamed. Amy. That's French for beloved. Beloved.
Listen, kid, there's something I want to ask you before I go. I'm pulling out in the morning right after the ceremony.
Where do you think of going?
Well, I ain't decided yet. It don't matter, north or south. It's all the same to me. I've been here too long as it is.
What do you have to ask me?
You like Tony all right, don't you?
I let him get jewelry, didn't I? A self-respecting girl don't accept jewelry from a man unless she's going to marry him. Not real jewelry.
I know that, only it just ain't what I mean, because, well, Tony, he's a funny guy and all that, but Tony is the salt of the earth, he is. And I wouldn't like to see him unhappy or getting his feelings hurt or anything in that line.
You wouldn't.
No. And it's all up to you now.
I ain't been complaining about him that I remember.
Well, don't get sore.
Who's sore? I know what I'm about, see. I want a home, see. Well, I got a home, ain't I? Go on, be on your way and mind your own business.
You needn't get so huffy.
I'm satisfied. I didn't come up here like I did looking for love or nothing like that.
Well, I'm glad you got so much sense.
I don't know what kind of a girl you take me for.
You're a great girl, Amy, and I'm all for you.
Yeah, and I can get along without your patting me on the shoulder, too.
Don't be so touchy. That guy will be singing all night. Moonlight sure makes him crazy.
Joe.
What?
There's something I gotta ask you.
Shoot.
You gotta tell me the truth this time. You just got to. You really didn't know nothing about him sending me that photo of you instead of his own, did you? You didn't know nothing at all about that.
Honest, I didn't. I swear it.
On your sacred word of honor?
Honest.
I'm glad. And I want to apologize for what I said about your being a common hobo and all. I'm sorry, Joe. Will you forgive me?
Forget it.
I wouldn't want you to go away tomorrow thinking what a mean character I got.
Oh, nothing like that.
You mean it?
Sure I do. Well, you're crying. What's the matter, kid?
Nothing. I'm all right.
Come on, don't let it lick you. Just make the best of things.
I'm trying to. Honest, I'm trying to.
You're marrying a good man. I know it's no picnic with Tony smashed up and all, but just hang on. It'll work out. You'll see.
I bet you all those people are laughing at me. And I bet you're laughing at me, too.
I ain't, Amy. I'm sorry. On the level, I am. Well, you're shaking.
No, don't. Please don't touch me.
Say, you're all right, Amy. You're plumb all right.
I always was, till I come up here.
Come on, buck up.
I wish I was dead, Joe. I wish I was dead.
Oh, don't talk that way, Amy. Honey, don't cry. Gee, you're sweet.
Oh, Joe, don't say that. You mustn't. No, you mustn't.
I can't help it. Gee, you're sweet.
Oh, Joe. Hold me tight, Joe. Hold me tight.
In a moment, we will continue with the third act of They Knew What They Wanted, produced by the Theater Guild on the air and sponsored by the United States Steel Corporation. And here again, speaking for United States Steel, is George Hicks.
One of the things which is naturally of vital interest to every American today is the return of peacetime products. We're all looking forward to the time when we can buy a new car or refrigerator or some of the many other products of industry. And though you may not realize it, all of those products are dependent on the production of steel, and particularly the production of steel sheets. That's because steel sheets are important in making your car, your refrigerator, your stove, your pots and pans, and 1,000 other things. That's why Columbia Steel Company's new $25 million steel mill expansion is so important. When this mill at Pittsburgh, California is completed, it will produce almost 500,000 tons of USS tin plate and steel sheets every year. That will do much to help fill the needs of the West. It means that in the near future, a great new supply of steel will be available to make the things you want and need. And because this Western member of the United States Steel family realizes that speed is important now, the new mill is being rushed to completion. But at the same time, Columbia's present facilities are being kept in full operation. As a result, if you were in Pittsburgh, California today, you might see the interesting sight of a great new mill being built on top of an old one which is going right on running. As sections of the new mill are finished, they will gradually take up and increase production, while the old machinery is dismantled and removed. The production of steel for peacetime America goes on and increases constantly. This is another example of how Columbia Steel is living up to its responsibility as a member of the industrial family that serves the nation, United States Steel.
And now the curtain rises on Act 3 of Sidney Howard's famous comedy drama, They Knew What They Wanted, starring John Garfield, June Havoc, and Leo Carrillo. Produced by the Theater Guild on the air and sponsored by the United States Steel Corporation.
In spite of his serious injury, Tony married Amy the next day. It is now 2 months later. Joe has stayed on to manage the ranch until Tony can be up and about. The grapes in Tony's vineyard are large and purple, ready for harvesting. As the scene opens, the late afternoon sun is streaming in at the open door, and Tony is reclining contentedly in a wheelchair, his crutches lying on the floor beside him.
Hey, you want to see me walk a duck?
You stay off those legs.
Oh, that crutch is a fine. Look.
No. You stay put, my friend. Mrs. Petrucci, if anybody had told me that day I dug your husband out from under that automobile that I'd have him on crutches in 2 short months.
My Amy is the best nurse I never see. She could nurse to the dead man back to life.
She looks worn out. You know, Tony, you're a handful to take care of, and You feel up to par, Mrs. Petrucci?
Oh, sure, Doc. Sure, I'm just fine.
Mrs. Petrucci, you'd better come down to my office tomorrow and let me look you over. Give you a thorough checkup, just as a precaution.
No, it ain't necessary, Doc. Honest it ain't.
No, Amy, you do what the doctors say. If the doc think you need to check him up, you go down and get it, check him up, see?
Oh, I don't imagine it's anything, Tony, but it's best to be on the safe side.
Doc, she fainted the other day.
Oh, fainting's nothing, I tell you, Tony.
Oh, that don't make no difference. Tomorrow morning, the first thing I'm going to make a Joe drive her down to Napa to see you, Doc. Santa Maria, we don't want to take no chances on the sickness, eh? I wouldn't have nothing happen to my Amy, no, sir.
Oh, I wish I had the wings of an angel.
Let's get back to the ranch, Joe.
Well, what's the rush?
Let's get back.
Hey, what's the matter? You look white as a sheet. How'd you make out with the doctor?
If you go wrong, you're going to get it sooner or later. I got it sooner. That's all.
What are you talking about, anyway?
I don't know how to tell you, Joe. How I'm ever going to tell Tony. I'm in trouble. The doctor just told me that...
The doctor? You mean you're gonna...
Oh, Joe, what are we going to do? It'll kill Tony. Just kill him. And him being so good to me, too. I must have been crazy that night before the wedding.
I guess we were both crazy. But there's no use saying that now. The one thing we got to think about is Tony.
Maybe it wouldn't be so bad if I didn't love him. And I do love Tony, Joe. He's been so sweet and kind. Kinder than anybody's ever been to me in my whole life.
But don't I feel the same? I'm a swell guy, ain't I? To do a thing like that to a fella like Tony. A swell guy.
Tony'll be just crazy when he hears. Just wild.
But being sorry ain't going to help now.
And naturally, after this, I can't stay with Tony no more.
Of course you can't.
I ain't got no money. There's my earrings, but now I ain't got no right to them either.
I got a little money saved. Tony made me do it. I'll take you away if you want.
And now I gotta leave here. I gotta get away from here.
I guess we don't have any choice now.
Gee, it's funny, ain't it? This is the first time we've been alone together since that night before the wedding. But poor Tony will be thinking of right along, you and me. Oh, Joe, ain't this a terrible fix to be in?
I seen better. Yes, sir, I must say. I seen a lot better.
Amy, I've been worried. I waited so long for you to come from the doctor. Hey, Amy, take off your hat and sit down beside of me. I love it to see the sunshine in your hair. Hey, what did the doctor say? You're no sick, eh?
No, Tony.
Ah, what I tell you, the doc, he don't know nothing. Say, what's the matter? Joe will come back with you.
Joe's packing to go away.
Oh, that boy making me very unhappy. Why is he going away like that?
Something awful's happened, Tony, and I'm going to tell you exactly what it is, because I ain't having you thinking afterwards that I ain't been happy here.
Oh.
Happier than I ever been in my whole life.
Hey, what? Amy, what do you say?
And I don't want you blaming Joe no more than you blame me.
Oh, non capisco. I don't...
Tony, I gotta leave here. It ain't because I don't love you, Tony, because I do.
Kidito, what are you talking about going away?
Please, Tony, listen to me. You're going to kick me out when you hear me. It's only right that you do. I'm going to have a baby, Tony, and it's Joe's baby.
Dios mío. Amy, you fooling me, eh?
No, I ain't fooling. It's so. And that's why I'm going to go away, Tony.
You been loving it, Joe?
Oh, no, I ain't. I never loved Joe. Honest, I never. And he don't love me. I was just crazy. I've been straight all my life, Tony. Only that one night when I first come here, the night before we was married, I ain't even spoke to Joe alone since that day until today in the car, Tony.
You lie.
I swear I ain't.
And you're going away with it, Joe?
I don't know, Tony. Honest, I don't know what to do.
Go out, Amy. I'm going to talk to Tony.
I already told Tony.
Joe, I'm going to kill you.
Go on out, Amy. Get out.
Now she's going to stay here and see me kill you.
Oh, Tony, killing me won't help any. I wish it would. I'd only string you up for it, and I'm not worth it.
Take it easy.
Wait a minute.
Tony, listen, we'll go away. You'll never see us again. You can't ruin your life, Ross.
Tony, I don't know what got into me, but it's a fine time to tell you, but I'm sorrier for this than anything I ever did in my life.
Oh, you low down his neck and aggressor.
Sure. I'm everything you want to call me and more, too.
You know how I always feel about my Amy, and look what you do to me. I tell you, I kill you for this.
Take it easy.
No, Tony, be careful, please.
Take it easy, will you?
I get my gun and I shoot
Tony,
you.
take it easy. Your leg. Cut it out.
Tony, hurt himself.
Tony, you're gone crazy. You're out of your head.
Catch him, Joe.
Look out.
Oh, Tony, what have we done to you?
Help me get him back on the cot. Come on.
Joe, we got to get the doctor. We got to get him right away.
Poor old devil. Is Tony all right?
Dios mío. I shoot you.
He's right. I ought to be shot. 2 tickets for Frisco, one way.
That'll be $3.61.
Train on time?
Yep, as far as I know, she'll be pulling in about 7:10.
Yeah, much obliged. Well, here's the tickets, Amy.
Move my suitcase if you want to sit down, Joe.
You got anywhere to go in Frisco?
Yeah. Thanks, anyway.
Okay.
You couldn't blame Tony for taking it the way he did.
You know the trouble with me? I never learned to use my head. I'm just like some half-baked kid that sees a sack of candy and grabs it no matter who it belongs to. Well, I got my licking this time.
What'll you do in Frisco, Joe?
Well, I can always try the docks. If that won't work, I'll go south for orange picking, maybe down the Imperial Valley. It don't make any difference.
I can get a job myself. For a while.
Don't you worry, Amy, about that. I'll take care of the dough. I'll do the right thing if it kills me.
Now, try to calm yourself, Tony. I know what you've been through, and it's a great deal, but you've got to take it easy.
What I'm going to do now, Doc? Amy, she's left me.
Well, now, you can't say she left you when you practically turned her out.
No, I not turned her out.
Understand, I don't blame you. It's a hard thing for any man to forgive.
And me treating Joe all the time like he's my own son. Oh, Madonna mia. You think that Joe is going to take care of my Amy, Doc, like he says?
No, I don't. How much money has Amy got with her?
She don't got nothing, Doc, nothing. Only them diamond earrings I give her. I guess she's get plenty for them in the pawn hook shop, huh?
She might, if she'd taken them with her.
What do you say?
There are your earrings on the corner of that table.
Oh, Madonna mia, she don't got no sense at all. Why she don't take them with her?
Well, the way things ended, I suppose she thought she wasn't entitled to them.
Oh, she got no right or not about taking my present, Doc. How's she going to live? What's she going to do for the cash?
It won't be easy to get a job with the baby coming.
Doc, that Frisco train, he don't go yet. Look at the clock. It's even 7. How about it? You riding me down to the depot, and I give Emmy my cash money. I got plenty of money.
You can't go anywhere in a car.
Sure. Look, Doc. Look. What the clutch is for?
Sit down. You want to fall again?
No, the clutch is holding me up good.
Well,
see?
You take the cake.
Well, we'll make it, Doc. You drive like the devil, and we take the shortcut, and we get to the depot before the Frisco train, just as sure as a shoot.
Look, Tony. There they are on the platform. Joe, come here to the car. Bring Amy.
Doc, you brought Tony down here, huh?
If I hadn't brought him, he'd have walked.
Emmy, here's some money. You take the earrings, huh? You don't take those earrings. Look, I got it.
No, Tony, no. I can't take your money.
You're going to have a baby. How are you going to get along with no money? Tell me that.
I got money.
You Santa Maria, oh boy, got nothing. Emmy, pretty quick. Joe is leaving you.
I swear I'll see her through, Tony.
Oh, he's no good. Joe is no good for looking after the woman. Emmy, you ain't going to have an old baby in the street. No, sir. Tony, don't let you.
Oh, Tony, you mustn't worry about me. I just ain't no good.
You ain't, Emmy. You ain't going. You're staying right here with the Tony like nothing happened.
I can't do that, Tony. It ain't fair for you.
Yes, that's a good sense. That's what everybody's wanting. You and Joe and me. Hey, Joe, he wants to go free. All right, then. Amy, what she wants? Staying as nice and as safe in a fine house with a Tony. Look at Tony. Dio mio. Ask him what he wants. Hey, don't he want a little baby?
But not this baby, Tony.
What I care what the people say. I'm going to tell everybody he's a Tony's kid. Then everybody going to say, look, Tony's so young and strong. He'll break both his legs and have a baby just the same.
Right, you know, Tony, you wouldn't mean it later. It ain't human.
It's a human. I got nobody to give him my property to when I'm a die. That's for why I want this baby, Emmy.
You ain't kidding, are you? You're serious, ain't you, Tony? You won't change afterwards, will you?
No, Emmy, what do you do, Emmy? That was just a mistake of the head, not the heart. And a mistake of the head, that don't matter.
Joe, I guess maybe you better get on that train alone.
Yeah? You're not going? You mean that?
You sure? She mean it? Did you hear her, Joe?
Okay. Well, you know what you want. If that's the way you want it, I'm satisfied. I guess there ain't none of us got any kick coming at that. No real kick. And that's a fact. Well, so long.
The curtain has fallen on the Theater Guild on-the-air production of They Knew What They Wanted. Sponsored by the United States Steel Corporation, starring John Garfield, June Havoc, and Leo Carrillo. The cast tonight included Gail Gordon, Herbert Rawlinson, Eddie Marr, Elliott Reed, Hal Dawson, and Frank Graham. And here is Lawrence Langner again to tell you about next week's Theater Guild play to be presented by the United States Steel. Mr. Langner.
Ladies and gentlemen, next Sunday from New York, we're going to bring you Gene Kelly, who made such a success for the Theater Guild in William Saroyan's play, The Time of Your Life, and also more recently on the screen in Anchors Aweigh. He will appear in the hilarious comedy Boy Meets Girl. This play, by Bella and Sam Spiewak, spoofs certain Hollywood characters in a highly amusing manner. I think you'll enjoy listening in next week to Gene Kelly in our presentation of Boy Meets Girl. And now here is Mr. Brokenshire again.
The United States Steel Corporation hopes that you'll be with us next week at the same time when the Theater Guild on the Air will present Sam and Bella Spiewak's famous satirical comedy of the motion picture business, Boy Meets Girl, starring Gene Kelly and Frank Lovejoy. Remember to listen next week to Boy Meets Girl, and remember, too, that when you see the USS label on any product, it means the steel is good. John Garfield may be currently seen in the Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer production, The Postman Always Rings Twice. Elliott Reed appears through the courtesy of Paramount Pictures. The staff for the Theater Guild on the Air includes Homer Fickett, director, George Hundoff, producer, and Armina Marshall, executive director of the radio department. Music for tonight's play was composed and conducted by Harold Levy, and the play adapted for radio by Kenyon Nicholson. Your announcer, Norman Brokenshire.
The Cavalcade of America, presented by DuPont, better living through chemistry. Tonight we bring you a radio portrait of Annie Oakley and the legend of her crack marksmanship, which to the men and women of her era became their national pride, and to us, one of America's fondest memories. To portray the role of Annie Oakley, we present Agnes Moorehead of the Cavalcade Players. The orchestra and the original musical score are under the direction of Don Voorhees. DuPont, maker of better things for better living through chemistry, presents Agnes Moorehead as Annie Oakley on the Cavalcade of America. Dark County, Ohio, the year 1874. The clearing before a log cabin in a wooded valley.
Joe, hold your fire a minute. Someone's coming out of the timber there.
What's the gal, Ma? All done up in shooting gear.
Howdy, Mr. Shaw.
Howdy, ma'am.
Why, Danny Mosey, growed up already.
Annie Oakley now, ma'am. I took my ma's name after Pa died, and she went away. Been out shooting myself some supper.
Nothing to shoot in these parts except in that chicken hawk up there. Trying for a week to bring him down.
That ain't so high. Stand back so as I can swing, will you? Thanks.
You got him. With one shot.
I wish getting game was as easy as that.
Game? Oh, help me get this kid undone, Mr. Shaw.
Sure.
Here you are, ma'am.
Partridges.
6 partridges.
You're welcome to 'em. I shot 'em on your property. Tomorrow I'll scare up some quail if you'd like me to.
Say, Annie, why don't you stay a spell with us?
Well, I'm not much good around the house, ma'am.
Oh, don't you worry your head over that, Annie. Just you get the game. I'll cook it. And Joe.
Yes, Ma.
Annie can't do her best shooting with this rusty old gun of hern. How about you trading yours for it?
Well, guess so, Ma.
Oh, I hate to take your new gun, Mr. Shaw.
The Lord himself sent you to us, Annie Oakley. I'm not one to slow up the Lord's work. Neither is my husband.
But, Annie, All right, you can rest a spell, Elmer.
Oh, Annie. Don't you ever think about anything but guns and shooting?
Not right now. I got my reasons, Elmer. They're fixing to run a stagecoach past our house straight to Cincinnati.
Well, what's that got to do with us, Annie?
Hotels in Cincinnati are buying game as much as they can get.
Well, I don't see what...
I want to help Mr. and Mrs. Shaw pay the mortgage on this place before I move on.
Annie, listen. I'm getting a part interest in the general store over at the Forks, and railroad's coming through that way pretty soon, and I was thinking, well, why don't you marry me?
Because, well, we just don't think alike, Elmer. Maybe I'll never find a man that thinks the way I do. But if I do, there won't be any doubt in my mind. That'll be the man.
Quite a crowd come out for your little shooting match, huh, Mr. Butler?
Yeah, they must be expecting to see something from one of us. Say, who's that girl over there?
Where?
Why, over there, looking at the traps.
Oh, that's Annie Oakley, one you're going to shoot against.
What?
Oh, Mrs. Shaw, Annie.
Morning, Mr. Biddle.
How do, Mr. Biddle?
Frank Butler, the man you're going to shoot against, Annie.
Pleased to meet you, ladies.
Same to you.
Likewise.
Well, I hear you're quite a crack shot, Miss Oakley.
Haven't missed a bird in quite a while, to tell you the truth, Mr. Butler.
Did you know that Mr. Biddle here had put up $100 on you?
I told him he should put up more, but he said that was enough. Said you were pretty good, too.
I see. Well,
well, if you folks are ready, we might as well begin. You understand the rules, Annie?
I reckon I do.
You'll fire by turns, 25 rounds. When you say pull, the bird will be released. If you hit, the referee will holler dead. If you miss, he'll holler lost. That's your understanding, Mr. Butler?
That's right.
Yeah. All right, I'll just say a word to the crowd here. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the contest is about to begin. A match of 25 rounds. On the left, that sensational young marksman of the professional team of Butler and Company, Frank E. Butler. On the right, a young lady known to some of you, but unknown to most, Annie Oakley. Ready, referee?
Ready here.
All right, Mr. Butler. Pull.
Dead.
Pull.
Dead.
Pull.
Lost. Mr. Butler.
Pull.
Dead. By golly, he did it. Well, Miss Oakley, I got an idea. I owe you something. I don't know whether it's an apology or a thanks for a shooting lesson.
You was just a mite unlucky, Mr. Butler.
I'm a showman. I know luck when I see it. Say, how'd you and your ma like to see my show this afternoon?
Why, we'd be right pleased to, wouldn't we, Ma?
We surely would.
You won't see any better shooting than yours, but you'll see some a little different. Here, a couple of tickets.
My, pretty things, ain't there? What are all those holes in them for?
Oh, that's just to show they're complimentary, free of charge.
Oh, I thought there was bullet holes.
No, they're just punch holes. Not bullet holes, not Annie Oakley. Yeah, sure you'll come?
I've never been in a real theater before, Mr. Butler. I wouldn't miss it for all the world.
Most difficult trick of all. To say a man's best friend's his dog, and George here is certainly mine. Eh, George? George will gladly risk his life to prove a point for his master. He'll hold this apple on his head while I shoot it off, sighting from a mirror over my shoulder from a distance of 20 paces.
Oh, look, Ma, isn't he cute?
Ready now, George? Steady now. Steady.
Miss Oakley?
Yes?
Mr. Butler would like to see you ladies backstage if you care to come.
Really, I don't know if we... Oh, sure. Come on. It can't do no harm.
Just follow me.
All right. Say, do you suppose we'll see that smart little dog back there?
You'll see him wherever you see Mr. Butler, miss. Right so here.
Oh, come in, Miss Annie. Mrs. Shaw.
Thank you.
Well, how'd you like the show?
Oh, you were fine, Mr. Butler. But George was wonderful. Where is he? Oh, there he is. Say, isn't he the smartest thing?
You say hello to the lady, George. She seems to think you're quite a fella.
I think he likes me, Mr. Butler.
Yeah, I know he does, Miss Annie.
I wish I could see him again sometime. I suppose you're going on to another town now.
Yeah, I'm afraid so. But I'll tell you what we could do. George could write to you once in a while. Hey, George?
It'd be real nice to hear from George once in a while.
Would you answer him, Miss Annie?
I'd be pleased to, Mr. Butler.
Dear Miss Annie, Frank and I have just arrived in Ogdensburg, and the afternoon performance was a great success. But Frank don't seem very happy. I think he must be in love. Oh, by the way, do you have a picture like a tintype or something of yourself you could send? For me, of course. It don't have anything to do with Frank. Why don't you just think about this, and the next time you write me, enclose one of your favorite pictures.
Dear George, I'm sorry I don't have any pictures of myself. I'm afraid that anyone who wants to see me will have to come back through Dark County again sometime. But I'd be real glad to see them. Sometimes it gets awfully lonesome out here in Dark County, and a friendly face can seem to be the most pleasant sight in the world.
Dear Miss Annie, I thought I'd better write you this myself. George thinks you ought to join our act. He says you're a better marksman than me anyhow. And besides that, you're the finest person he ever met in all his life. I guess I did.
I guess maybe we better take a bow, huh, Frank?
You better take a bow, Annie. That applause is not for me. It's for you.
Oh, Frank, I can't do that.
Go on out there, Annie. That's all yours from now on.
Oh, but Frank...
Oakley, what's the matter? You're holding up everything. Get on out there.
Oh, sure. Sure, I'm going. Folks, I'm new in show business, you see. And all I know is what Frank Butler taught me. So, what do you say we get Frank out here to take this with me, huh? Come on, Frank.
All right, folks, I appreciate it. You know why? Because this is my last night out here in front for the main act. You've been grand to me, and I've given you my best whenever I could. Well, here's my best now, folks. This little lady, my wife. Thanks, and good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, the greatest traveling show of its kind ever assembled. Buffalo Bill's Wild West and Congress of the Rough Riders of the world. You will see William F. Cody, better known to you all as Buffalo Bill. You will see Sitting Bull and his band of savage warriors who perpetrated the terrible massacre of General Custer and his men on the Little Big Horn. You will see Tawny Bill and his Dakota Braves as they act out for you their sensational attacks on the Deadwood stagecoach. And last, but not least, a little girl who is the miracle marked woman of the age, our own Annie Oakley.
The arrival in London of the American Wild West show has caused what might be called a minor sensation. By far the outstanding performer is a certain Annie Oakley, a young woman whose marksmanship is simply incredible. There is to be a command performance tomorrow for Her Majesty Queen Victoria.
Finally, Miss Oakley will drive a spike into a pine board with 6 shots from a .38 caliber revolver from a distance of 20 paces. Are you ready, Miss Oakley?
Ready?
Fire!
Miss Oakley,
Yes?
Her Majesty Queen Victoria would like to speak with you.
Well, Oh, thank you. Oh, Frank, you come with me.
Oh, she wants to talk to you, Annie, not to me.
But, Frank,
Yes. If you'll follow me, please, Miss Oakley.
Sure. Say, I don't think I know how to curtsy.
It's not in the least necessary. Her Majesty is very informal, really.
Oh?
Your Majesty, Miss Annie Oakley.
Why, you're hardly more than a child, are you?
I'm 25, Your Majesty.
I understand your troop is going on to Berlin from here.
I guess likely, Your Majesty.
Yes. You'll probably meet a grandson of mine there, Prince Wilhelm. He's full of ideas about guns and shooting. He may even offer you a position of some sort. Don't take it.
I promise you I won't shoot that good, Your Majesty.
You're a clever little girl, my dear. A very clever, clever little girl.
Bravo. Really astonishing, gentlemen?
It is, Your Highness. Yes.
Thank you, Your Highness.
Miss Oakley, there is one shot which you made that I found particularly interesting, where you shoot the ashes from the end of a cigarette held in the mouth of your assistant. I have heard that this is often done by a trick, such as a small wire concealed within the cigarette.
Not when I do it, Your Highness.
Would you be willing to try it if I were holding the cigarette?
Your Highness, please.
I am not afraid, gentlemen. Why should you be? Well, Miss Oakley?
Frank, what do you think?
Well, you don't need to be any more nervous with me, Miss Oakley, than with this fellow who held the cigarette before.
Reckon I couldn't be. This fellow's my husband. Take your stand, Your Highness. I'll try it.
A cigarette, please, gentlemen.
Oh, Your Highness, really, I must protest.
Merely a test of nerves, my dear Field Marshal. Mine against hers. And I'll wager 1,000 marks if he misses her first shot.
Ready, Your Highness?
Quite. Fire!
Your Highness. It's nothing. Merely a few sparks from the cigarette.
Would you care to try again, Your Highness?
Thank you, no. But I will promise you this, Miss Oakley. If ever I am emperor, and if ever you need employment, you will be well paid in the service of the Imperial Germany.
Thanks, Your Highness. But I got a pretty good job right now.
Madison Square Garden. Final gala performance of the season. Annie Oakley, back from her triumphs before the crowned heads of Europe. After this final performance, Miss Oakley and her husband, Frank Butler, will leave for an extended vacation in the Carolinas.
Frank.
Yes, Annie?
You know the hunting season will still be on in Carolina.
Yeah, there's some of the best hunting in the world down here, too.
Frank, maybe we ought to get a little place in this part of the country somewhere. Somewhere that's like Dark County, Ohio used to be. You know, Frank, I've missed the outdoors so much all these years.
Yeah, I know you have, Annie.
Here comes the conductor. Ask him when we get there.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Chief, what time do we get in?
Well, we're due to pass number 22 on the siding in about 10 minutes. We don't have to wait. We should be in about 9 o'clock.
But number 22 has not stopped at the siding. She's missed the signal, and she's speeding up the track at 65 miles an hour, rushing head-on towards the special only 3 miles away.
It'll seem funny, though, shooting without an audience.
Will you miss it, Annie?
Oh, a little, I suppose. No more than you have, Frank.
Now, what's that mean?
You know what it means. All these years when I took the bows and you stood on the sidelines. You know how I feel.
Yeah, I know, Annie. I know.
Say, Frank, doesn't it seem to you this train is going awful fast?
Just trying to make up time, I guess.
I suppose it's something. Frank, I can't move my hand. I just can't move at all.
You can come in now, Mr. Butler. She's awake.
Thank you, Doctor.
Just one thing. You'll find her appearance somewhat altered. Be careful not to show undue concern.
Sure.
All right, come in. She's very anxious to see you.
Oh, Frank,
Hello, Annie.
you're all right, aren't you?
Oh, sure. I'm all right.
I guess it was a pretty bad accident, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was real bad from what they say.
Come over here, Frank. Sit here beside me. That's it. Now, sort of slip your arm around me so I can sit up a little and get a look at myself in that mirror.
Annie, don't you think it'd be better if you...
Help me, Frank. Would you hand me that comb, Doctor?
Doctor.
Sooner or later, Mr. Butler.
Sooner or later, what? Loose me up a little now. Yeah. That's better. Now I can see. Frank.
Oh, it's nothing, honey. Your hair just turned white, that's all. That's happened to lots of people. You were in a terrible accident.
Frank. I'm old. I'm old.
Oh, no, you're not, honey. Listen, you and I are going down to that little place in South Carolina. Maybe the color will come back again. We'll leave just as soon as you get well.
Frank, I wasn't going to let you know just yet. But they told me this morning I'll never shoot again. I'll never walk again.
Is that true, Doctor?
I'm afraid it is, Mr. Butler.
Annie, you know I never lied to you in my life. And I know it's not true.
The boardwalk of a New Jersey seaside resort, the year 1903. Frank Butler is pushing his wife along the boardwalk in a wheelchair.
Want to walk a little more now, Annie?
No, not just yet. But I do feel stronger today. Much stronger. Oh, Frank, look over there.
Yeah, real old-time shooting gallery.
Frank, wheel me over there.
No, Annie.
Oh, please, I just want to watch.
Step right up, ladies and gentlemen. Take shots this quarter. Finest guns on the boardwalk. Step right up. Hey, you want to try your hand there, mister?
No, thanks. Just looking.
I do.
What? Certainly, ma'am. Step right up.
Help me, Frank.
Oh, honey, you shouldn't.
Frank, I've got to.
That's right, ma'am. Never too old to learn, you know. Here. Now, here's your gun. All cocked and loaded. Now, she's an automatic. You just pull that trigger there, see, for each shot.
Start that swinging bell target for me, will you?
If I was you, ma'am, I'd try one of those stationary targets. You'll find them a lot easier.
You just start that thing, like I say.
Yeah, just as you say, ma'am. There she goes. Say, that was quite a shot, huh? Now, if you hold your gun just a little...
Annie.
Well, I'll be... Why, ma'am, you're a regular Annie Oakley, ain't you?
Why, yes. Yes, I guess I am.
Cavalcade of America thanks Agnes Moorehead and the Cavalcade players for their performance of the story of a gallant American woman, Annie Oakley, who became part of the American folklore. So legendary were her exploits that in token of her marksmanship, it became a habit to call complimentary tickets punched with holes Annie Oakleys. And now DuPont brings you news of chemistry at work in our world. The United States has literally hundreds of thousands of followers of Annie Oakley and Frank Butler. Yes, America has many crack shots today. Witness William Schweitzer shooting at 200 yards with a .22 rifle for 2.5 hours until it got so dark he could no longer see the target, making an unfinished run of 200 straight bullseyes. Or Gloria Jacobs, holder of the short course world's record in pistol shooting, with her score of 293 out of a possible 300. Or Dick Shaughnessy, national skeet shooting champion, who at the age of 18 last year broke 564 flying targets before he missed one. Since the day when the right of every American citizen to bear arms was written into the Constitution, shotguns and rifles have been used by millions of farmers in hunting and to protect their crops and livestock from varmints and pests. And from the city, too, flocked millions of gun owners to compete at their local gun clubs or to hunt in forest and field. 7.5 million sports-loving Americans buy hunting licenses each year. Shooting in competition alone are 200,000 riflemen, 150,000 trap and skeet shooters, and 75,000 pistol shooters. This coming weekend, for instance, the country's oldest and largest skeet shoot, the 13th annual Great Eastern Skeet Championships, will be held at the Remington Gun Club at Lordship near Bridgeport, Connecticut, with 300 of the nation's top-ranking men and women skeet stars taking part. And for every marksman of championship caliber, there are hundreds of girls and boys popping away with .22s. So, apart from our armed forces, there are in America at least 10 million citizens who know how to handle a gun and who continue to improve their marksmanship as they enjoy their favorite shooting sport. The Remington Arms Company has kept pace with the demands of American sportsmen and steadily through the years has made better and better guns and ammunition. Through costly, painstaking research and experiments, it has accumulated a vast reservoir of technical skills, spoken of by experts as know-how. American craftsmen have learned how to make firearms and ammunition more effective and more accurate than any the world has ever known. And today, in a time of national emergency, that peacetime know-how becomes an invaluable safeguard. Likewise, lessons learned in sports become valuable skills in national protection. Today, the pilots of pursuit planes are taught skeet shooting, a target sport originated as practice for game bird shooting in the field, because a gunner who can hit moving targets from the ground can knock down moving targets in the air. The inborn love of an American for sport, competition, and a good gun becomes a national defense resource. Thus, disciples of Annie Oakley and Frank Butler join hands with scientists to ensure for America the opportunity of continuing to enjoy better things for better living through chemistry.
And now the star of next week's program, Carl Swenson of the Cavalcade Players.
Our play next week is about one man, but it's really about two personalities. It's the story of Joel Chandler Harris, who was a great editor, helped to guide the South through the difficult years following the Civil War, and yet managed to create some of the most lovable characters in American folklore, Brer Rabbit and the Tar Baby in his Uncle Remus stories. We hope that you'll listen to the story of Joel Chandler Harris on Cavalcade next week.
In support of Agnes Moorehead as Annie Oakley was Ray Collins in the role of Frank Butler. On the Cavalcade of America, your announcer is Clayton Collier, sending best wishes from DuPont.
This is the National Broadcasting Company.
The makers of Campbell Soups present the Campbell Playhouse. Orson Welles, producer.
Good evening, this is Orson Welles. Tonight we're going to present a typical chapter in the life of a special type of theatrical manager, the man who wears the mantle of the impresario. He's sometimes a genius, always a visionary, and is usually dressed in a haze of glory, especially if he's just created a success. But it's his particular ability to wear his aura whether he deserves it or not. He exists on the momentum of the past and the anticipation of the future. He's divorced from reality and lives in his own frantic world of the glorious, impractical dreams which keep bursting on the bubbling surface of his mind. And lest I seem to convince you that he is a type entirely removed from the usual producer, let me hasten to assure you that we are all a little guilty of the same dreams and the same aspirations. The play is 20th Century, our version of 20th Century, which was written by those inimitables Ben Hecht and Charlie MacArthur from the play by Charles Bruce Milholland. And tonight our leading lady is Elissa Landi, who's appeared notably on Broadway and in a large number of successful films in the past few seasons. Mr. Sam Levene plays Owen O'Malley, and you've met him before on this program. And we also have here in the studio the model for Owen O'Malley, one of the characters in the play, not the producer, but one of the most remarkable characters on Broadway, Richard Maney, press agent without peer and interpreter to the world for a number of the great dreamers of the theater. He will speak in his own defense at the end of the program. And now, before we begin our story, a word from Ernest Chappell.
Tonight I want to talk to you about Campbell's vegetable soup. And if there's any one soup by which to judge the fine, home-like way that all Campbell soups are made, this is it. Because vegetable soup has always been a family standby, and the soup most often made at home. If you still make your own vegetable soup now and again, won't you please do this? Serve Campbell's vegetable soup next time so that you and your family can compare it with your own. See if its appetizing look, its good flavor, and its satisfying substance don't fully measure up to the best you ever ladled from your own home soup kettle. I want you to do this because Campbell chefs make vegetable soup the good home way, just as you would do. They simmer selected beef until they have a rich, invigorating stock. But what perhaps you wouldn't do is use 15 different garden vegetables. Campbell's do. And you can tell by looking at it how substantial and hearty and nourishing a 15 vegetable soup can be. Every delicious spoonful proves it over and over again. So I urge you to set a plate of Campbell's vegetable soup before hungry children or grown-ups for lunch or supper tomorrow. That's the real test of how good it is. And now, 20th Century, starring Orson Welles with Elissa, Landi, and Sam Levene.
Ladies and gentlemen, this here is a love story. This here is the inside story of that great romance you all know about, of course, which transpired between that gorgeous feminine star, Lily Garland, of stage and screen, and the great Oscar Jaffe, who is a famous producer and is crazy. Now, I hate to tell you about it because it cost me plenty, but here it is. One of the great romances of the ages, and against romance, nobody, not the smartest man in the business, not even me, Max Jacobs, can do a thing. Max Jacobs, that's my name. I'm a Broadway producer, and I do very nice. 4 hits the last 2 years. Smash hits, not cheap turkeys either. Good, clean, lively entertainment. I got companies playing all over the country. The money's pouring in. I got no complaint about that. But do people call me the genius of the American theater? No. Do I get my picture on the cover of the Time magazine? No. Am I invited to speak before the culture committee of the city club? No. Now take this last thing. What happened to me with Lily Garland shouldn't happen to a dog. Only yesterday, up to 8:10 p.m., I was sitting pretty. A great script in one pocket and a contract in the other. And Lily Garland waiting for me on a train at Toledo. Lily Garland, the name anywhere today is worth a fortune. That's show business for you. Now, I remember when Lily Garland wasn't even anybody's name. I can remember the first time she walked into Oscar Jaffe's office. That was 9 years ago, and I was his office boy.
Here you are, miss. 3rd floor.
Where's Mr. Jaffe's office?
Right down the hall, miss. Turn to the right. There's a lot of people waiting for him, miss. I don't think you'll get to see him.
Well, I'll try. Thanks.
Okay.
I've been here 3 hours now. Wait a minute. The Rhoda said I could see Wait Mr. a minute. Jaffe. Wait a minute. Both One at a Chamberlain time. and Lyman Brown said Mr. Jaffe would see me first. And I've got a I letter came all the way from from Mr. Syracuse Jaffe. to see Mr. Jaffe. I have this letter.
One at a time, please. One at a time. Don't you see I can't talk to more than one at a time?
I know,
Hey, sister, come back from that door. Where do you think you're going? That's Mr. Jaffe's private office.
I'm looking for a job.
So is a lot of other people. You got an appointment?
No.
Well, you can't come in here without an appointment. Not a chance.
Well, how do you get one?
You write a letter.
Well, what do you say in it?
Hey, ain't you never been in a theater office before? Come over here. I'll take your name for the file.
Now, I've been waiting here for 3
man.
years. I came all the way from Syracuse.
All right. When he's ready to see you, he'll see you. All right, now one at a time.
I have to get to
All right,
Astoria.
let me have your name. Hey, you, Sugar. What's your name?
Mildred Plotkin.
Mildred Plotkin. Address?
2083A Prospect Avenue, the Bronx.
Experience?
I want to be an actress.
I said experience.
Look, Mr. Jacobs, I'm not going to stand for this any longer. It's Mr. I came all the way from Syracuse to see Mr. Jaffe. I'm sure Mr. Jaffe knew I was here.
All right. Hold your hats, will you? I'll go in and see what I can do. Mr. West.
Yes, Jacobs, what is it?
Quiet. I'm on the phone.
Yes, Mr. O'Malley.
Why, you inaccurate Muscovite? Yes, I'm Mr. Jaffe's press representative. It's Vermelo of the Times. He's driving me crazy. Listen, you unfortunate Armenian. Oscar Jaffe's next production will surpass anything ever seen in this country or any other country, in this generation or any other generation.
Right.
That'll hold him for a while.
Hey, Mr. O'Malley, where's the chief?
How should I know? I'm only the press agent around here.
He's in the 13th century room meditating.
Meditating? I've got 85 actors standing outside, and every one of them with a card to be here at 11 o'clock to see Mr. Jeffy personally.
Well, you better clear the arena, Webb. When the chief starts meditating, it's liable to go on for days.
Oh, well, here goes. Come on, Jacob.
Mr. Jeffy said he'd see me. All right. Here, this is Mr. Oliver Webb.
Oh, hello, Oliver.
Mr. Webb is Oscar Jaffe's business manager.
Oh, well, Mr. Webb, now, Quiet, please, quiet. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very sorry, but Mr. Jaffe will be unable to see anybody today.
I have been trying to see Mr. Jaffe for 2 weeks.
Mr. Jaffe told me to come back today at 11 o'clock. I know, Mr. Jaffe changed his mind. Come back tomorrow.
Webb, will you never learn? How long will this organization continue behind my back to trample upon the sensibilities of actors, of artists? It's very discouraging.
But, Chief,
How many times have I told you that I always see everyone?
But, Chief, you said only yesterday
Webb,
that you...
You have insulted these people. I will speak to them myself. I will apologize for you. Ladies and gentlemen, for 18 years...
Mr. Jaffe, I played Rosencrantz with Mr. Mantell.
Please. Ladies and gentlemen, for 18 years I have devoted myself to the theater. Brain, soul, heart, spirit. I have given them all, unstintingly, in the service of that beautiful, devouring mistress of us all, the theater. With the toil of my hands, the anguish of my spirit, I have built this beautiful theater in which you stand today. Who have I built it for? The public? Philistines? Bootleggers? No. The playwrights? Hacks? Plagiarists? No. This beautiful theater that I have built with the toil of my hands, the anguish of my spirit, I have built it for you. And you alone, you, the sinews and the soul of the theater. You, the true artists. For you, the actors.
Hey, Chief, these people are waiting to see you about casting.
Casting? Oh, no, not today, not today. Come again, my friends. Come again whenever you wish. Remember, the doors of this beautiful theater are always open to you. Goodbye, my friends. Goodbye. And remember, no matter what, I love you all.
All right, folks. All right. That's all for today. That's all. Jacobs. Yes, Mr. O'Malley?
The boss says there's a girl with bangs, the fourth one on the right. Green dress and eyes like amethyst. Send her up. He wants to see her right away.
All right, Mr. O'Malley, I get it. Hey, you. Sugar.
Here she is, sire. Come in, my dear. Come in. Don't be nervous, my dear. What's your name?
Mildred Plotkin.
Plotkin. Good heavens. Well, stand up and let me look at you, my dear. Yeah. Now walk across the room. Now just walk. Slowly. Head up. We'll have to begin at the very beginning, O'Malley, at the very beginning. Now, my dear, let me hear you speak, the timbre of your voice.
What shall I say?
Say, I love you.
I love you.
O'Malley, when did you say her name was?
Mildred Plotkin.
From now on, O'Malley, she is Lily Garland.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yes, dear.
Can I try it again? I love you.
My dear, have you ever been in love?
No, sir. That is, not really. There's a boy who lives on the concourse.
Please. Try again. I love you.
I love you.
Yes, again, with feeling, please.
I love you.
Yes, well, the spark is there. So you want to be an actress?
Yes, sir.
Do you know what it means to be an actress?
Well, sir,
Drudgery, my dear. Disappointment, my dear. Failure, which take the toil of your youth, your strength, your beauty. For you are beautiful, Lily Garland.
Oh, thank you.
And you'll have to learn to live. To live. You'll have to learn to experience love. The deep, shattering passions that will unloose the hidden well springs of your being. O'Malley.
Yes, sire?
O'Malley.
Oh, yes, sire.
O'Malley.
Okay, sire.
Now then, my dear,
You can be quite at your ease. Let's try it again. I love you.
I love you.
Now, once more, my dear. Pear-shaped orange. I love you.
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 So that's how this here romance came about. It's almost 9 years now since the names of Oscar Jaffe and Lily Garland was first linked in the columns. The most terrific romance of the modern theater history. And business? Ladies and gentlemen, Oscar Jaffe and Lily Garland was big money in this town. 7 in a row. Smash hits. Remember the titles? The Heart of North Carolina, Undaunted. The Heart of South Carolina, Besmirched. The Sin of Ivory Dupree. And finally, the Postcard. It looked like they couldn't miss those two. You know, it was too bad in a way that them two split up. Nobody on Broadway could figure what really happened there. Maybe that's always the way with great love. 2 years ago, that was. Garland picks up and goes to Hollywood, and now she's the hottest thing in pictures. And what happens to Jaffe? Well, he splits with Garland. That was for him the beginning of the toboggan. Flop, flop, flop. Yes, sir, things is looking pretty bad for Jaffe. He closes his show in Chicago after 5 nights. Joanne of Arc. It cost him $75,000. Imagine it. A lot of men in tin suits and a revolving stage. I don't know how he gets out of town, but he does. He gets out yesterday at 2:40 on the 20th Century. And that's when this here great love story starts in again on the 20th Century.
Hey, Webb, where's the chief? He's going to miss the train.
Search me. He ought to be here by now. You don't suppose the sheriff nabbed him, do you?
There's no sheriff in Chicago fast enough to catch up with the chief when he's dodging him.
Oh, I tell you, I had a hard time getting out of that theater myself this morning. 4 writs and 2 attachments. Oh, this is our worst flop yet.
There was no excuse for this one either. Joan of Arc. 16 angels and 92 extras in full suits of armor with crossbows.
There were more people on the stage than in the audience. You'd think he'd learn, wouldn't you?
Not Oscar Jaffe. Once he gets an idea into his
Boys!
head...
Boys!
Hey there, you Tasmanian ticket taker. Hold it.
What?
Mr. Jaffe isn't on board yet.
I can't help that. This train starts on time, Mr. Jaffe, or no, Mr.
You
Jaffe.
start this train over my dead body. Hey, you emaciated Algonquin.
You better hurry. She's moving
Hi,
already.
O'Malley, jumper. Hey, where's the emergency door?
What are you doing? Do you know it's a prison offense to pull that thing?
All right, tell it to the judge.
Oh, now you've done it. Wait till the train detective gets here. He'll have you in handcuffs.
Wait till Oscar Jaffe catches up with you. He'll fry you in lard.
Jaffe or no Jaffe?
O'Malley! Webb! Has everyone deserted me?
Sorry, Chief. I didn't know you were on board.
Of course I'm on board. I got on the observation car and walked through.
It's okay, conductor. Sorry for the little accident. Now, you go ahead now and start your kiddie car.
Did it get drawing room A?
Here it is, Chief. Well, we almost busted a lung getting it for you, Chief.
Very good, very good. Did you order the flowers?
What flowers?
I distinctly gave instructions to have drawing room B banked with gardenias. Gardenias, the flowers of love. I sent word to the box office.
Oh, well, would you want me hanging around a box office with 16 process servers lying in there waiting for me in
You'll have to stop drinking, O'Malley. You're no good to me this way. It's very discouraging.
All right, sire. Now, do you mind telling me just
Telegraph Maurice, the florist in Toledo, to send all the gardenias he has to drawing room B, this car.
Okay, Chief. What's her name?
I want those gardenias to contain a message. Let me think now. To the little lady of the snows. No, I'll use that this time. I've got it. From the grave of someone you loved yesterday. How's that?
That's fine. A little on the sad side, ain't it?
It's perfect. Why can't I get playwrights to write like that? Webb, take my coat, will you?
Yes, Chief.
Thanks. Now, don't let me brood, boys, will you? O'Malley, go order lunch. See if they put me by myself at the big table.
Now, how am I going to do that? The diner is packed.
Tell them it's for me. Now, go on. Give the man $5. Go
If
on.
you
for me.
want privacy, why don't you travel in a balloon? And besides, we haven't got $5.
Chief, if you've got a minute, I'd like to talk to you.
Yes? What is it? Speak up.
Chief, do you know what our bank balance is after Joan of Arc?
Don't bother me with trivialities. Do you know what I was thinking on my way to the train, Webb?
Nothing morbid, I hope.
I was thinking, Webb, that of all my 68 productions, the most beautiful was Joan of Arc. I saw the play 5 times and cried like a baby every time. That revolving stage was pure genius.
Well, revolving stage and all, we did exactly $942 on those 5 performances. $75,000 in the hole. That makes 3 flops right in a row.
Yes, but what a magnificent failure. If I am a genius, Webb, it is because of my failures. Always remember that.
Okay, and now will you tell me what you're going to do about that note for $250,000 the banks are holding?
Webb, don't annoy me about money matters now. Do you mind, Webb?
This time they're going to take your theater away from you.
My theater? Webb, they wouldn't dare.
You got the writ last Thursday. Unless you've got the money tomorrow, they're going to spring it.
Who's back of that? I know I can guess. Max Jacobs, that cheap, crooked little chiseler that I picked out of the gutter. A man I kicked out of my theater for stealing. A man on whom I closed the iron door.
No, Chief, it's not Max Jacobs. It's the banks, all 3 banks. They got together last week.
Oh, they did, huh? Conspiracy. Well, I want to tell you something, Webb. It takes more than a handful of banks to keep me down. Webb, I'll tell you a secret. A friend of ours is coming on board this train.
Who?
Lily Garland.
Lily Garland? Chief, you mean that you
I
and
never
Chief...
closed the iron door on her, Webb. You know that. This morning, I found out she was returning from Hollywood, and by a miraculous coincidence, we're occupying adjoining drawing rooms.
You mean the gardenias, the flowers of love?
Yes, Webb.
Well, that's something like it, Chief. With Lily Garland's name on a contract, we can walk into the bank tomorrow and write our own ticket.
Precisely.
Well, you certainly had me worried, Chief.
Yes.
Thought we were all through for good this time.
That's when I'm at my best, Webb, with my back against the wall, disaster staring me in the face. Henry VIII, the bride of Baghdad, and now Joan of Arc. No money, no credit. My theater, everything I have gone. Everything but the name of Jaffe.
Listen, Chief, let me get this straight. Have you got Lily under contract?
Oh, don't be sordid, Webb. Between me and Lily, bond more lasting than paper, thicker than ink.
Look, Chief, she's going to be pretty snooty after the hit she's just made.
What hit?
In the movies.
Lily Garland will never be any good in the movies.
What are you talking about? She won the gold statue last year.
What gold statue?
A big gold statue they give away every year for the best performance.
Who does that?
Some academy.
That's impossible. She can't be any good in the movies. Her face is all wrong. It took me 4 years to make her look like a human being.
Chief, so long as Lily Garland is indefinite, I've got something constructive to suggest. I got a telegram this morning from Max Jacobs.
Communicating with Max Jacobs? Treachery, huh?
If you listen, I'll tell you what he said.
I forbid you ever to mention the name of Max Jacobs to me again. That's final. Besides, his real name is Mandelbaum. Max Mandelbaum, a Galician. I dismissed him for stealing.
Chief, we've got to face the facts. You fired him because he said Henry VIII was going to be a flop, and it was.
What does he know about the theater? That buttonhole maker.
Well, he knows enough to produce 3 smash hits in a row while you've been laying one bad egg after another. That's fact.
Webb, I've had enough of your treachery. Get out.
It's in your interest to listen to this wire.
You've shown your true colors, Webb. You're fired.
I've had just about enough.
Get out, I said. Get out. Go to Mandelbaum, or whatever his name is.
Oscar, let me tell you.
Judas Iscariot. Get out. Come in.
Yeah, I'm going, Chief.
Oliver, where you going?
Mr. Jaffe has fired me for the last time.
Get out, Oliver Webb. I close the iron door.
All right, go ahead. Close it.
Abandoned.
Chief.
Deserted. Betrayed. Look, no loyalty. No gratitude.
Now, look, Chief.
Yes, what is it?
Is it true Lily Garland's on this train?
She is, getting on at Englewood.
Englewood?
It's not Englewood.
This is Englewood.
Englewood! So it is. Pull down the shade, O'Malley. She'll probably be on the platform. I don't want her to see me through the window. Shock might unnerve her.
Okay, Chief.
All right. Now raise the shade. That's it. Just a crack more. That's something. Now look out. Don't let Lily see you.
Okay, Chief.
You see her, O'Malley?
Not yet.
Now do you see her, O'Malley?
Yeah. Yeah, here she comes, bagging.
Tell me, O'Malley, is she as beautiful as ever? Oh, I must see her, O'Malley. I must see her. Oh, good heavens! She's blind! Blind! Those amethyst eyes dulled forever. Horrible.
Ah, hold your horses, Chief. She's wearing sunglasses. All those Hollywood girls wear them.
Sunglasses, vulgar buffoonery.
Chief, now she's on board.
Open the door, just a crack. Let me hear the voice.
Right this way, miss. Draw no beat.
It must be her.
Hey, Porter, what's the idea of kicking those bags around? There's some perfume in there that costs $18 an ounce.
Her voice, O'Malley.
That's
Her
Lily,
voice,
all right.
That voice. Lily is coming back to us, O'Malley.
On the level, Chief?
In her heart of hearts, she knew she belonged to me and to the theater. I shall hold open the door of reconciliation by offering her a great legitimate role.
You got a play for her, Chief?
I repeat, I shall offer her a great role. The greatest character ever put on the stage. Half devil, half woman, who makes a great sacrifice for love.
Yeah, sure, I know, Chief, but have you got a play, something tangible, something she can see herself walking around the stage in?
In my trunk, O'Malley, there are 100 plays, each one a masterpiece.
Oh, that collection of moth-eaten scripts. Now, for the love of Pete, Chief, you ought to know you can't pull plays out of a hat, not real plays.
I don't want to argue with you, O'Malley. Find Webb and tell him to draw up a contract in legal form.
Webb says you fired him.
I fired him. Oh, so he's going to take advantage of that, is he? You tell Webb I've forgiven him. Tell Webb if he... Wait a minute. Who's there?
I'll see.
Of shoes of fleas.
Maestro.
Chief, it's the first and second base of the House of David baseball team.
Maestro, we must talk with you.
It is a matter of big
Listen, boys, beat it. Mr. Jaffe's very busy.
O'Malley, please. Don't you know I always see people?
Maestro, this is a great, great privilege.
Bitte lass mich, August. Ich spreche besser.
Nein, versteht mich.
Well, if you're gonna talk, spit it out.
Well, my friend don't speak English so good.
Maestro, I wish to say...
Just a minute, August. Maybe the maestro has seen us sometimes.
Of course. I seldom forget a face.
Actors looking for work. Throw him out, Chief.
Nein, we are actors from the miracle play, from Oberammergau.
Of course, I should have recognized you. Stand up, O'Malley. These gentlemen represent the purest branch of the theater.
Hello, boys.
O'Malley, take off your hat. These are the only pure actors we have left.
How do you like the United States, men?
We don't like it so good. We got lots of troubles. Maestro, we got nothing to eat.
Oh, so you want to borrow some money, is that?
Danke.
We say to ourselves, the great maestro.
So rich.
So generous.
Yeah, he will take pity on us poor players. Yeah.
Pity, yeah.
Gentlemen, you are engaged. O'Malley, tell Webb to draw up contracts right away. 200 a week.
200?
The 150. Run of the play. Give them an advance.
Advance?
Oh, thank you very much.
Oh, America, that is a land of miracles.
Listen, Chief, for the love of Mike.
No argument, O'Malley.
Okay, sire. All right, boys, beat it. See you later.
Maestro, we can never thank you enough.
Never, Maestro.
All right,
never,
goodbye, fellas, goodbye. Now listen, Chief. Are you clean off your nut? Do you know what it'll cost to transport that bunch of itinerant whiskers across the country?
It's an inspiration, O'Malley. You don't understand these things. Just when my back was against the wall. I am going to produce the miracle play.
The what?
The miracle play.
Now listen, Chief. I've stood for a lot of phony ideas, but I'm not going to let you get mixed up in any of that high art like that.
You forget yourself, O'Malley. The miracle is the most exalted drama in human history. It will be colossal, sublime. My ultimate achievement.
Well, anyway, it'll help us forget Lily Garland.
On the contrary, O'Malley, I'm doing it for her.
For Lily Garland, the miracle play.
The role of the Salome. It's perfect casting. The part fits her like a glove. It'll crown her career in the theater. Wait till I tell her.
Wait until she hears about it. It's Webb, Chief. It's Webb.
Webb, you may come in. Mr. Webb, I have decided for the sake of your wife and child to take you back. The innocent shall not suffer with the guilty.
Huh? Oh, thanks, Chief. Listen, I've just been talking to Lily.
Lily Garland?
You've been talking to Lily?
That's right. And between you and me, Chief, it's not going to be so easy.
What do you mean?
The moment I mentioned your name...
You told her I was on the train?
It slipped out before I could think.
Yeah, well, go on.
The moment I mentioned your name, she began screaming at me like a fishwife.
Screamed like a fishwife,
Yes.
eh? Good. That shows the battery isn't dead.
She said she never wanted to see you again. She said she wished she never had seen you.
She said that, did she? I, who taught her everything she knows. I made a great actress out of her, with all Broadway at her feet. She worshipped me. Lily and I, Webb, Lily and I, ours was the great romance of the theater. Beside it, Dusa and D'Annunzio were pale fires. What did you say to her, Webb?
Well, I sort of passed the time of day, sort of casual.
You didn't give her any false ideas about it being necessary to me.
Oh, not a word.
All right, gentlemen, the time has come. I'm going in to talk with her now. Let me tell you, Webb,
The destinies of Lily Garland and Oscar Jaffe are bound together by hoops of steel. Open the door, O'Malley, into a drawing room, into my past. I'm going to reclaim a soul from Hollywood. Lily Garland.
Oscar Jaffe.
Lily.
Oscar. Oh, Oscar.
Lily. Poor Lily.
And what do you mean by that, Oscar?
You know what I mean, Lily. I saw it.
So what? What on earth are you talking about?
That movie, that last movie. When I saw that last movie of yours, I blame myself. Only myself, Lily.
Oh. Oh, you saw it. Everybody said I was marvelous.
I'm sorry, Lily. There were moments when you were marvelous, the real you coming through, but that cheap story, Lily, that unimaginative director.
You're right there, Oscar. The director was an idiot. Did I have to fight to get my own ideas across?
You were like a magnificent ruby set in a pail of lard. You put yourself back 10 years, Lily. 10 years.
You just have to fight them all the time, Oscar.
I can understand, Lily. You're a great artist, a great woman. I never appreciated you until I lost you.
Darn right you didn't. You haven't had a hit since. All your grand illusions that you were Shakespeare, Napoleon, and the Grand Lama of Tibet all rolled into one.
You're absolutely right, Lily.
What?
I realize now that in the largest sense, it was not Oscar Jaffe who made Lily Garland. It was Lily Garland who made Oscar Jaffe.
Oh, I'm glad you've come to acknowledge that.
I've paid for my mistake 1,000 times.
Listen, Oscar, if all this is a preliminary to a contract, you can save your breath.
Contract? Oh, contract? Who said anything about a contract?
Don't kid me. You do anything to get my name on a contract.
Oh, no, Lily, no. I came here with a dream we both had long ago. The thing we'd planned as a climax to your career. The last step in the golden stair.
For the love of Mike, will you stop being mysterious? Now, what is it you're trying to pull out of a bag?
Lily.
Another part where I'm not worthy of the lieutenant's love and make a great sacrifice?
No, Lily, no.
What is it, Montezuma again, or that big drama about Hairpin Annie, the pride of the gas house?
No, Lily, none of these things. This just happens to be the greatest woman of all times. Just her memory, Lily, has kept the world in tears for centuries. Salome. Salome, Lily. Listen to me, Lily Garland. I'm going to put the miracle play on in New York with Lily Garland as Salome. Had it up my sleeve all this time, waiting for the right moment. You play the wickedest woman of her age. Sensual, heartless, beautiful, corrupting everything she touches, running the gamut from gutter to glory. Can't you see her, Lily? I'm going to have Alexander the Great strangle himself with her hair.
I can see the whole thing. Salome.
Salome.
Salome, in the beginning as a young girl, innocent, childlike. And then after having been heartbroken by some man she loved madly and trusted, she went down to
the depths.
Hating and despising all men.
That's right.
Laughing at times. Laughing at them so cruel, so terrible.
It'll be the greatest production I've ever made, Lily. I brought over an entire troupe from Europe. Took them away from Max Reinhardt. Cost me my shirt, but I wanted them. 2 of them are geniuses. It'll run 5 years, and you can have every dollar it makes. All I want is to stagger New York. A desert scene with 100 camels and real sand. Brought over from Arabia. I'm going to have a Babylonian banquet the second act. You're dancing with all your slaves around you. You're covered with emeralds in that scene from head to foot. But that's nothing to the finish, where you stand in rags, and the Emperor Nero himself offers you half his empire. And you answer him with a speech that's probably the greatest piece of literature ever written, with all the lights pouring down on you, transfigured by love and sacrifice. Nero cringes, and the last we see of you is a little figure selling olives in the marketplace. Now, what is it?
You're crazy.
What do you mean?
Oscar, you're a pure case of leaping paranoia.
Now, don't be cheap, Lily.
Coming in here with camels and sand from Arabia. You're a scream. You're going to put on the miracle play? You haven't $100 to your name.
I can raise $1 million, $2 million.
Yes, and I know how you intend to raise it. Get my name on a contract and go out peddling it. Shake down some new angel on the strength of my reputation. No, thank you. I'm through being your meal ticket, Oscar Jaffe.
You're at liberty to call up any one of my banks in the morning.
Your banks? You mean the ones that are taking your theater away from you?
That's a lie. You've been listening to my enemies.
I've been listening to Mr. Webb, your so-called business manager. He broke in here with some sob story about you're going to commit suicide unless I took pity on you. Well, go on out and commit it. It'd be a blessing to everybody concerned, you scorpion.
Mr. Webb is no longer with me. I fired him. for stealing.
Oh, shut up. I've had enough of your lies.
Lily Garland, I've offered you a last chance to become immortal.
Thank you, but I've decided to stay immortal with a responsible management.
Who?
Max Jacobs.
Oh! Can't believe it.
No, we'll read the papers tomorrow then. He's meeting the train at Toledo, and I'm going to sign with him.
Max Jacobs! Max Jacobs, he's a thief. Illiterate. He can hardly write his name.
Oh, he writes it all right on checks. Great big checks, too.
Oh, it's the money. The money. That's all you want. Money, money, money. If I jingled a miserable 10 or 15,000 at you, your mouth would begin to water. You'd start drooling and squealing. Gimme, 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 gimme.
That's right, Oscar. Now get out before I have the porter throw you off the train, you fake. You swindler.
Not that, you cheap little shop girl.
Get out before I call the conductor.
Go on, ring that bell. I'll tell the world who's a fake you are. I made you. I taught you everything you know, your voice, your walk, your cheap little talent. They're mine. I gave them to you. I gave up everything to breathe them into you, even your name. Lily Garland, I gave you that. Well, if there's a justice in heaven, Mildred, plot in, you'll end up where you belong. In the burlesque houses.
You are listening to the Campbell Playhouse presentation of 20th Century by Messrs. Hecht, MacArthur, and Milholland, and starring Orson Welles with Elissa, Landi, and Sam Levene. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System. This is Ernest Chappell, ladies and gentlemen, welcoming you back to the Campbell Playhouse. In a moment or two, we will resume our story, 20th Century, starring Orson Welles with Elissa, Landi, and Sam Levene. The train on which our story takes place is one of the modern streamliners that typify the great progress made in railroad travel. You can see this same progress reflected all around you in radio, in home building, and in many other activities. Take, for example, the modern efficiency and ease of meal planning. Today, you can serve the finest of soups quickly, conveniently, and economically for any meal. Good, hearty, homey vegetable soup is yours in a few minutes. Full-flavored chicken soup can be had for lunch or dinner any day. Many a soup that used to be considered expensive or difficult to make is served now as simply as saying ABC. These soups come in red and white labeled cans marked Campbell's. Their convenience in serving is as modern as streamlining. But I do want to impress upon you one thing. Underneath the label, Campbell's soups are the good old-fashioned kind. There's nothing newfangled about their carefully hand-picked ingredients, their tried-and-true recipes, or their old home soup kettle flavor. Home cooks have discovered that there's genuine home-cooked pleasure in every plateful, every spoonful of Campbell's soup. It's this old-fashioned good eating that has made Campbell's soup so popular, so heartily approved in many thousands of homes. Now we resume our story, 20th Century, starring Orson Welles with Elissa, Landi, and Sam Levene.
Webb! O'Malley.
I'm here, Chief. Well, how'd you make out with Lily Garland?
O'Malley, where's that scoundrel Webb?
Oh, he's around, Chief. I saw him a few moments ago in a club car talking to a little bozo with gray hair.
More treachery.
What do you mean, Chief?
A dirty double-crosser. You know what he did to me? He betrayed me. He told Lily Garland I was broke and helpless.
Now, wait a minute, Chief. Maybe you've got him wrong.
Wrong? I'm never wrong. I'm going to kill him with my bare hands. I'll strangle him, so help me. Even if I have to go to the chair for it, to the chair. Who is it?
Hey, Chief.
Come in, Webb, you gray rat, and shut the door.
Listen, Chief,
Scoundrel.
Look, Chief.
What do you mean by telling Lily Garland
Look, Chief, I've been talking with a man.
Don't try to change the subject, you.
He's going to finance the miracle play.
Who? Who?
A man I met in the club car. I talked him into putting up the money for the whole thing.
You did what? Webb, is this another of your coarse attempts to be funny?
Funny? Take a look at this check. Is that funny?
Check?
$200,000, that's all.
Webb, who is this man? What do you know about him?
He's Matthew T. Clark of the Patent Medicine Million.
Holy mackerel.
And he's crazy about the miracle play.
You see, O'Malley, what did I tell you? There is a justice in heaven, Webb. I apologize. You've done well. You've done nobly. I always said you were a man of imagination and iron will.
Thanks, Chief.
And now, gentlemen, action. Webb, get a hold of this man Clark. Bring him here. I want to see him.
Right away, Chief.
And then take that contract you drew up and go in and see Lily. Show her the check. Play her along.
I get you, Chief. Leave it to me.
Mr. Max Jacobs gets on the train at Toledo. He's going to get a little surprise, O'Malley. Now, take a telegram. John Ringling of the Ringling Brothers Circus. Dear John, I am in the market for 25 camels, 20 sheep, a few elephants, and an ibis.
A what?
An ibis. That's the royal bird of Egypt, O'Malley. You wouldn't know. Why? I mean, rock bottom price, Oscar Jaffe.
What about lions?
We'll have to cable London Zoo for them. They have the best specimens. We'll need 10 or 12 at least.
Well, where are we going to house all these monsters?
I'll construct a little zoo off the green room. I'm going to rebuild the whole theater to make it look like a grotto.
A grotto?
A grotto. Do you, by any chance, remember the name of the Sultan of Turkey?
Well, not offhand. Why, are you going to use him in the show, too?
No, but I'll need about a dozen of his dervishes, the whirling ones. Never mind, we'll take it up with the Turkish and Arabian councils. How many sheep did I order?
20.
Change that to read 50. We don't want to stint. Come in.
Chief, this is Mr. Clark.
Oh, Mr. Clark.
Mr. Clark, I want you to meet Mr. Jaffe.
How do you do, Mr. Clark?
How do you do, Mr. Jaffe?
Mr. Clark, Mr. O'Malley, my press agent.
How's tricks?
Oh, why, they're...
I'm delighted, Mr. Clark, with what Mr. Webb has told me. It'll be a great privilege to be associated with you, I assure you, sir.
It'll be a great privilege for me, Mr. Jaffe, a great privilege.
You just sit over here by the window, Mr. Clark. That's right. Nice and comfy. Webb, what about Lily? What'd she say?
I spoke to her, Chief. She said she'd be in right away.
Splendid. Now then, Mr. Clark, it seems to me that since we are to be associated, we should become better acquainted, don't you think, sir?
Oh, indeed, yes, Mr. Jaffe. I am really quite thrilled by the whole thing. Your venture is one of the very worthiest efforts that this country has ever seen.
I agree with you, Mr. Clark. I agree with you. I agree. There's nothing like the living theater, Mr. Clark, for delivering a great message.
Oh, indeed, that is true.
Night after night, Mr. Clark, when those enormous audiences are sitting in the hushed theater, spellbound before the genius of Lily Garland.
Lily
the greatest
Garland.
actress in the world, Lily Garland. I'm considering her in one of the parts.
Oh, a professional actress?
Of course.
Oh, I don't think that will do, Mr. Jaffe. I shouldn't like to have this play contaminated by any woman of the stage.
Yes, I see your point, Miss Clark. The spiritual flavor must come over in a bath of glory. And it shall, Miss Clark. You can count on that, Miss Clark. It shall. It so happens, of course, that the character of Salome...
are we going to have a Salome in the play?
Certainly.
Oh, she's not one of my favorite characters. I've always preferred...
That's right. Garland.
Miss Garland.
Lily.
Miss Garland.
Come in. Yes, just in time. We were discussing the character of Salome. Mr. Clark here.
Now, wait a minute, Oscar. I haven't made up my mind.
Really pipe down.
And there's still a whole lot of questions I want to ask.
Of course, Miss Garland. Many as you like, but in the meantime, I want you to meet our new associate, may I present Mr. Clark. Great Lily Garland.
Oh, Mr. Clark, how do you do?
Yes, of course. Delighted.
Well, Mr. Clark, Mr. Webb told me all about you. Are you really joining the theater?
Not exactly, but I feel that if by my contribution, financial help, I can bring people closer to the truth of spiritual things.
Well, that's just what I told Mr. Jaffe. If it was just an ordinary show, I wouldn't be interested, seeing as I'm cleaning up in the movies anyway. But when Mr. Jaffe told me that it was the miracle play...
Well, I didn't realize that an actress...
Well, most people have a wrong idea about actresses, Mr. Clark.
That's true, Miss Clark.
Now, take me. I've gone to church practically every Sunday of my life, and most of the time I've had a class in Sunday school. And, well, there you have it, if you guess what I mean.
Oh, you don't need to say anything further, Miss Garland. I'm sure you will be a splendid addition to our cast.
You're a swell looker, too, don't you think, Mr. Clark?
O'Malley, see who it is.
Yeah.
Excuse us, please.
Oh, the House of David.
Maestro.
Gentlemen, just in time.
We found the miracle play,
good.
the manuscript. We were afraid it was lost.
Yeah, we found it in the lunchbox.
That's fortunate.
The lunchbox is always empty, so nobody look in there.
Very fortunate. Miss Garland, Mr. Clark, I want you to meet those two remarkable artists. I've engaged them for our production.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Members of the original Omer-Abigail miracle play.
Yeah, Maestro. Ober-Abigail and also Unter-Abigail.
Oh, yes.
Unter-Abigail is much older.
Yeah, much older.
Much older.
July 1618.
1618?
Yes.
Oh, say, here, Oscar, I thought this was an original play. You know perfectly well you can't make a nickel on a revival. Every time you've tried it, it's been a flop.
Pipe down, Lily.
I won't pipe down.
Now, please.
Is this lady going to act in our company?
Miss Garland, gentleman, is a famous actress. I'm engaging her for the role of Salome.
Salome? Oh, nein, the Salome part is always played by my little cousin Tina. Yeah, she's in Milwaukee.
Indeed. Oh, I've always had a fondness for Milwaukee. Looks like we're pulling into Toledo, Chief.
Yes. Now, Lily, suppose you and I go into your drawing room, settle the details of our contract, and find out who that is, O'Malley. Yes?
Art?
Yes, conductor, I'll come quietly. Really, I will.
You're getting off at Toledo, you know, Mr. Clark. You remember the telegram you got from your brother.
Oh, yes, I remember. The telegram. Oh, dear, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but I shall have to leave now.
Oh, now, Mr. Clark.
You'll have to hurry, Mr. Clark. We'll be in Toledo any minute now.
Well,
Really,
I'm coming, conductor. I'm coming quite
Clark,
quietly.
This is rather unexpected.
Yes, but it can't be helped, I'm afraid. You see, I didn't
Well,
mean any
come right
harm,
along,
really.
Mr. Clark.
I didn't.
Come right along. The porter will take care of your bag.
Yes. Well, goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Hey, conductor, just a minute. Come here. What's the idea? It's quite all right, sir. He's quite harmless.
What do you mean, harmless?
Well, they've been hunting him for 2 weeks. He escaped from a lunatic asylum.
A lunatic?
Holy smoke! His brother's meeting him to take him off the train at Toledo.
You mean he's a nut?
Delusions of grandeur, madam, that's all. I understand he has a habit of writing out large checks on the spur of the moment, but few people I suspect would take him seriously. Well, good day.
Lily.
Don't you talk to me, Oscar Jaffe.
Lily, I swear.
Of all the cheap, deliberate, low-down attempts to swindle me.
Lily, as heaven is my judge, I knew nothing about it. I give you my word. Lily, I was stupid.
Let me out of here. You insulted me like no man ever dared.
Lily, I was bamboozled.
Get away from that door.
Lily, stay. For the sake of our great love.
Liar.
Now, Lily. Lily!
Well, there goes Salome.
O'Malley, Webb, I'm dizzy. Everything's going around. Oh! Look!
What is it, Chief?
Look! He's come.
Chief, what on earth?
He's come out there on the platform. It's him. He's come for her, the buttonhole maker, Max Jacobs. This is the end, Webb. O'Malley, this is the end. The road that has no turning. O'Malley, Webb. Before I go, there are a few words I'd like to say.
Now, listen, Chief, we're in no mood for fuzzy lamentation.
I won't keep you long. Just a few words, a few last words.
Skip them, Chief. We've had enough. When you get through with that whiskey, O'Malley, I'd like to borrow it. He's made a dipsomaniac of me.
It's typical of my career that in the great crisis of my life, I should be flanked by 2 alcoholics. Webb, I want to give you my last instruction.
Sure, I know your last will and testament.
There's nothing left for me now but this. Nothing.
Hey, Chief, put down that gun.
No?
I know it isn't loaded, but all the same, it gives me the jitters.
Not loaded? Did you say not loaded? You'll regret those words, Oliver Webb. When I pass into the great beyond.
Chief.
Listen to me,
Give me
Webb.
that gun.
Listen, no. When this pistol lies, peace. Oh, I know you'll feel badly for a while, boys. Believe me, it's better this way. Yesterday, Oscar Jaffe, the Wizard of Broadway. Tomorrow, a foolish old pest haunting the theater lobbies on other managers' first nights. Boys, you wouldn't want to see me that way. And boys, you'll remember me when you hear that wild sound in the night. Goodbye, boys.
This is nuts. He's probably faking, but we can't take any chances. Get that gun, O'Malley.
Webb, O'Malley. Boys, let me do it. Let me do it,
Give me that gun, Chief. Now, give me that gun.
Oh!
Chief.
What? You blithering idiot. You shot me.
Well, that's how it stood with this here romance at 8 p.m. when the 20th century pulls into Toledo. For a while there, it looks to me like I'm going to do all right. In one pocket, I got a script, a new play by Somerset Maugham. And the other pocket is a contract for Garland. And there she is waiting for me on the train. Me, little Max Jason, that used to work as an office boy for the great Oscar Jaffe. And ladies and gentlemen, she never looked so good in her life.
Oscar, what happened?
Now, take him an easy down, Jeffrey O'Malley. Is it hurting you, Chief?
Oh, it doesn't matter.
This is the end. Nothing matters
Maybe
now.
it ain't so bad, Chief.
Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is. I can feel my lifeblood seeping away.
You hear those bang, Chief? I don't like that. Where did you get your keys?
Through the heart, through the heart, through the heart.
Oscar!
Wait a minute, Chief.
What?
Chief, you're crazy. It's just a flesh wound in the shoulder. The bullet only scratched you.
Dead?
Oscar, what happened?
Are you sure, Webb? Why, look at it, O'Malley.
You mean I'm not dying?
No, not this time, Chief.
Oscar, what happened? Let me in.
What'll we do with it, Chief?
Lily! Wait a minute, boys. Wait a minute. I have an idea. I've got an idea. Take your handkerchief, Webb, and tie a bandage around the wound.
Okay, Chief. Yes, there you are.
Thanks. Now let Lily come in and lock the door after her.
Anything you say, Chief.
Oscar!
Come in, Lily.
Oscar, are you hurt? Oscar.
Lily? Lily? Is that you, Lily?
Yes, Oscar. It's me.
Forgive me, Lily. Forgive me.
No, Oscar.
The only way out.
No, Oscar, no.
The only way to atone for all my failures, my failure in my work, my failure with you, Lily, my failure.
Oscar, you mustn't die. Oh, you mustn't die. Can't you get a doctor for you?
He won't let us send
No,
for one.
doctor, no. It's too late. It's going fast. I feel my lifeblood seeping away. All I want, Lily, is to hold your hand while my life ends.
Oscar.
Before I go, Lily, I want you to know I always loved you, Lily. Always.
I know, Oscar. You were always the only one with me. The only one I love.
You make me so happy, Lily. So happy.
Why did you do this terrible thing, Oscar?
All for the best, Lily. Nothing left.
Oscar. Oh, forgive me, Oscar.
Too late, Lily.
Oh, Oscar, it's not too late. It's never too late. A love like ours.
Oh, it's getting dark.
Dark?
Soon it'll be over. Don't cry, Lily. Don't cry, dear, lovely Lily.
Oscar, darling.
There's only one last request I'd like to make, Lily.
Anything, Oscar, anything.
The contract, Lily. That last contract we made. I want it buried with me.
Oscar.
I want it with me down below the ground against my body.
Yes,
And Lily, will you write your name on it somewhere so that I may have something of you to keep me through the long night?
Better do it, Lily. It'll make it easier. It's his last wish, Lily.
Yes, my last
Here's a
wish.
pen.
Yes. Getting dark.
Better do it, Lily.
Dark.
You'll never forgive yourself. Keep going. Going fast, Lily.
Right there,
Give it to
Lily.
me. Quick. Where do I sign?
Here, Lily, here.
Yes. Lily?
Yes.
Garland.
Thank you, Lily. Now give it to me while I can still see it before my eyesight dims.
Lily, where are you?
Who's that calling for you, Lily?
Open this door. What happened in there? Come on, open it up.
All right, boys, open up. I've got the contract. Open it up. Lily Garland is signed with Oscar Jaffe. You're too late, Max Mandelbaum.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes my little story of a great romance. By the time the 20th century gets into Grand Central, it looks like the Jaffe-Garland merger will be solid. And it looks like Lily is going to do very good in Oscar's new play. And as to the great man himself, he's making a quick recovery next door in drawing room A.
I love you, my dear. I love you. I love only you.
Stop, Lily. That's terrible, horrible. No poetry, no feeling, no depth.
Now,
Lily,
listen here, Oscar
Lily.
Jaffe.
Empty, flat, colorless.
If you think you
colorless.
can insult me and bully
Try
me...
it again, my dear. Try
I
it
love
again.
you.
That's better. Now, once more. Pear shapes.
I love you.
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 This concludes the Campbell Playhouse presentation of 20th Century by Ben Hecht, Charles MacArthur, and Charles Bruce Milholland, starring Orson Welles with Elissa, Landi, and Sam Levene. In just a moment, Orson Welles will bring us his guest of the evening. In the meantime,
here is Ernest Chappell.
A few minutes ago, I spoke of vegetable soup as a great family standby. That's true not only today, but as far back as the cookbooks go. It's true wherever you go. Whatever community you might visit, you'd find vegetable soup a familiar, well-liked family dish. For a long time, a great many women felt that vegetable soup, to be at its best, must be homemade. But one by one, they've discovered Campbell's vegetable soup, so that with millions of families, Campbell's has replaced the vegetable soup formerly made at home. The reason you'll find in the soup, because here's a soup that's hearty and delicious in a homey, old-fashioned way, and yet convenient and economical to serve any time. If you'll try Campbell's vegetable soup tomorrow, you'll discover for yourself why it has become such a universal favorite. You'll see why in its tempting appearance. You'll taste why in its grand, home-like flavor. You'll enjoy the good eating in its nourishing blend of 15 delicious garden vegetables and rich beef stock. I'm sure you'll say it's so substantial, it's almost a meal in itself. But do try it this weekend and learn firsthand how convenient it is in the kitchen, how delicious it is at the table. Remember to ask your grocer in the morning for Campbell's vegetable soup. And now, here is Orson Welles.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I present our guests of the evening, Miss Elissa Landi, whom you've just heard as the temperamental Lily Garland, Mr. Sam Levene, who was our Owen O'Malley, and Richard Maney, who is a little like Owen O'Malley, or Owen O'Maney, or Maney, the most active and successful of the current Broadway press agents. Miss Landi, Mr. Levene, Mr. Maney, ladies and gentlemen. Miss Landi, have you ever encountered Mr. Maney in his professional capacity?
I've known of him, of course, as we all do in the theater. But he never acted as press champion for one of my plays. I'm very pleased to meet you, sir.
How do you do?
Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we began the play tonight, I promised you we would have with us a Broadway personality who served as a model for one of the characters. He is Richard Maney, press agent par excellence, a man of voodoo personality and alluring vices of speech, who was transplanted out of life onto the stage by Ben Hecht and Charles MacArthur to make the Owen O'Malley you've been listening to. Now, just to make everything sound and secure, he was also engaged by the producers of 20th Century to act as a press agent for the show in which he was being duplicated. He is an unrelenting Times Square realist, a cheerfully belligerent barroom scholar who can turn an argument into a shambles with such phrases as you dithering Igorot, you foul Corsican, and other weird word associations you heard tonight, most of them faithful transcriptions of Maney in action. It is his private brand of diction, a sort of conversational rubber hose which stuns without cutting and, while tremendously effective, leaves no marks for the coroner to determine how the victim in the debate was killed. Mr. Maney, you stand accused of being a notorious Broadway character. You plead guilty or not guilty?
Well, Orson, my inquisitorial friend, mine is an ancient trait, which, I won't deny, has its sordid aspects, but I never betrayed a widow, an orphan, or an editor.
Tell us, Mr. Maney, what does a press agent do while the boss is, as you say, meditating?
I've got 4 bosses meditating right now in their respective drama emporiums, and I'm probably suspected by all of them. But I'll tell you, the first duty of the theatrical drum beater is to hold the boss's head. After the premiere, and while shoveling in the aspirin, convince him the critics are not banded together in a foul plot to destroy him bodily.
I see, Mr. Maney. Who's your favorite impresario?
Say, you're trying to get me fired? I love them all. I have no favorite unless it's Billy Rose. He pays off every week, and he produced Jumbo.
Now, tell us about Jumbo, Mr. Maney. Wasn't that supposed to be the biggest show of all time?
That elephant ballet? Billy Rose conceived it one night while in a trance. He hailed me in and told me to plaster his name over the Palisades cliff in 100-foot letters as the only fitting expression of his gargantuan idea. He didn't get the billboard rights to the Palisades, but he did take over the old Hippodrome and completely rebuild it. The show was rehearsed longer than it played and postponed so many times. It was over before it opened in most Broadway successes. Since then, the midget maestro staged the Fort Worth Fair, offered to buy Hollywood and turning part otter, flooded part of Cleveland that set 100 diving girls in a tank. He is currently involved in diverting Long Island Sound into the World's Fair for the same sort of show.
Thank you, Mr. Maney, for the dissertation on the lighter side of press agenting. And you, Miss Landi, and you, Mr. Levene, on behalf of my sponsors, the makers of Campbell Soups, and my colleagues, Campbell Playhouse, as well as myself, thank you very, very much for being with us this evening.
In tonight's Campbell Playhouse production of 20th Century, Orson Welles was heard in the role of Jaffe. Elissa Landi played the part of Lily. Sam Levene, that of O'Malley. Webb was played by Ray Collins, the 2 players by Everett Sloan and Teddy Bergman, and Clark by Edgar Kent. Gus Schilling was Jacobs, and Howard Teichman was the train dispatcher. Music for the Playhouse is arranged and conducted by Bernard Herrmann. And now, Orson Welles, will you tell us, please, about next week's story?
Next week's story. Next week, we're proud to bring you a modern American classic, a story of life in a more colorful and leisurely age than ours. Of the strolling players whose theater floated yearly down the longest river in the world, the Mississippi. Miss Edna Ferber's great novel, Showboat. It's Margaret Sullivan, unforgettable star of our own dramatization of Rebecca, returns to us as Magnolia. Miss Helen Morgan plays Julie, the part that in the minds of the American public is almost synonymous with her name. And our distinguished authoress herself, Miss Edna Ferber, is paying us the compliment of making her very first appearance as an actress in the role of Parthy Ann Hawks. So until next week, until Showboat, my sponsors, the makers of Campbell Soups, and all of us in the Campbell Playhouse, remain obediently yours.
The makers of Campbell Soups join Orson Welles in inviting you to be with us at the Campbell Playhouse again next Friday evening when Margaret Sullivan, Helen Morgan, and the distinguished authoress Edna Ferber herself will appear with him in Showboat. Meanwhile, if you have enjoyed tonight's Campbell Playhouse presentation, won't you tell your grocer so tomorrow when you order Campbell's vegetable soup? This is Ernest Chappell saying thank you and good night.
Damon Runyon Theater. Once again, the Damon Runyon Theater brings you another story by the master of storytellers, Damon Runyon. And this one, The Idyll of Miss Sarah Brown. And to tell it to you, here is Broadway.
Thanks. Well, maybe you never hear of a citizen who is known as the Sky. And also, maybe you never hear of Miss Sarah Brown. It is a fact that any character along Broadway will lay more than a little 6 to 5 that the Sky and Miss Sarah Brown are as far apart as the North and South Pole. This is because the Sky is a gambler, and Miss Sarah Brown is a mission worker and a 100% all-right doll. But they do get together, and how this is done is a story that hardly anyone believes. But it is true, and I will tell you about it in a minute.
And now, back to the Damon Runyon Theater and the famous story, The Idyll of Miss Sarah Brown.
As I am saying, Miss Sarah Brown is a mission worker, and the Sky is a gambler. How he gets that name is because there is no limit on a bet he will take or make. The sky is the limit with him. And he is very smart. Like the day we are at the polo grounds at the ball game. The game is over, and the Sky and me are walking across the diamond when we are approached by a character who is called Bates. Now, this Bates is a hard citizen, and he is also a big bettor. The Sky is eating peanuts, which he pulls from his pocket, and we are near second base when Bates comes up to us. And the scene is as follows.
Hiya, Broadway.
Hi,
Hello,
Bates.
Sky.
Oh.
Well, Sky, you win or lose on the game today.
I win?
Not me. I lose 100 on the game.
That's so. I win 5. Have a peanut.
Thanks.
Broadway?
Oh, thanks.
No. It was only that punk throw from second to home that makes me lose the C-note. A good throw would catch the runner, and I'm in. I get a bad break.
That's a pretty big throw from second to home plate.
Yeah.
You know, I was a pretty good ball player when I was a kid. Not so bad now.
Yeah? Yeah, and I still say if the throw is good, the Dodgers do not get the run, and I am in.
Bet I could make the throw from second to home plate.
So what? Anybody with an arm could do it.
Bet I could throw one of those peanuts from second base to home plate.
You're crazy.
A peanut is too light to throw that far.
Maybe.
Wait a minute, Sky. You are now standing on second base. You are willing to bet you could throw a peanut from here to home plate?
Mm-hmm.
In the air, not roll it on the ground?
In the air.
You're crazy, Sky. A peanut is a very light object and would not travel 20 feet through the air.
I'm willing to make a bet. Tell you what, Bates. You've had a bad day. I'm in a good mood. I'll lay you 3-1 I can toss a peanut from here to the plate.
You serious, Sky?
Very.
I have exactly 100 potatoes in my pocket. Will you put 300 against it?
Mm-hmm. Broadway? Here's my 3 C's.
And here is my C note. Now, go ahead, Sky. Toss the peanut.
You don't mind if I pick out a big one, huh?
As big as you want.
Does this one look satisfactory to you, Bates?
Sure, go ahead. Toss.
Would you like to try it first with this peanut? I'm willing to bet you can't do it.
No, you don't, Sky. You make the bet. You pick the peanut. You throw it.
Like you say, I make the bet. All right, Broadway, stand back. Here goes.
It is impossible, but it is done.
It went into the stands.
On the fly over home plate.
I told you I was a pretty good ball player. I will now take the C note.
There is something fishy about this.
Broadway is a witness that I offered the peanut to you first. That right, Broadway?
It is very correct.
So long, Bates.
I do not understand this. I do not understand it.
Why are you laughing?
It was too easy.
I do not see how you do it.
Well, Broadway, it just so happens that I have one peanut in my pocket that is weighted with lead.
Lead? How does it happen that there is a peanut with lead in it? They are usually full of peanuts.
Well, I just happen to have it with me in case I want to make just such a bet. However, I offered it to Bates first, so I didn't cheat.
That is right. It is a fine point, but it is correct. Sky, you are a very smart man.
No, not smart, Broadway. Just careful. Because my father once told me something.
Like what?
I remember that he said to me a long time ago, he said, "Son, someday you're going to meet a man who will pull out a new deck of cards with the seal still on it. He'll offer to bet you that the Jack of Spades will jump out of the deck and squirt cider in your ear." Do not take that bet, my father says. Because as sure as you're a foot high, you'll get an ear full of cider.
Well, I tell you that to show you what kind of a citizen the Sky is. And he is honest. It is just that sometimes he insures a bet. But there is no character from Broadway to Los Angeles who will not take the Sky's word. It is as good as wheat in the bin. He is never crooked, and he hates citizens who are. But one day, we are walking along Broadway when suddenly he stops and points.
Broadway, look.
Huh? Where?
Who is that?
Oh, I see no one but Harry the horse. And you need no introduction to him.
No, not Harry. I'm talking about the doll.
What doll?
The one in uniform.
Oh, that one. Oh, that is Miss Sarah Brown.
Miss Sarah Brown. I don't get the uniform.
She's working for a mission.
What does she do?
What she is doing now, she collects money for the mission.
Oh, she's quite a lovely doll.
100% all right.
I take it you know her, huh?
Just from seeing her around.
Oh.
If you are thinking of meeting her, it is better that you put it out of your mind.
Why?
Because she has nothing to do with citizens of our ilk.
Oh? She doesn't like us, huh?
Not very much. She does not even accept money for her mission from us.
Mm-hmm. She's very young to be doing such work.
There is no accounting for tastes.
Oh, she's the kind of doll I'd like to meet.
If you like, I will attempt an introduction.
No, never mind.
But you are just saying that you...
I know. Forget it. I guess her type would think we're a bunch of bad citizens.
Yeah, I guess so.
Broadway, where were you born?
Right here.
Uh-huh. I was born in Colorado. Know where that is?
Is it possible to reach it by the subway?
Not quite.
Then I do not know.
Well, what I was going to say was...
Yeah?
Sometimes I remember the farm, the people. And I remember there was a girl.
A doll?
Yeah, as you say, a doll. I liked her, Broadway. She looked a lot like this Miss Sarah Brown.
Is there a possibility this doll you speak of and Miss Brown could be one and the same?
No, Broadway. There's no possibility. No possibility at all.
Oh, I see.
Okay, Broadway, let's move on. I have a date with a poker game.
Well, I do not see the sky for a couple of days after that. But one night, I get a funny report that the sky is missing quite a few big games. That is not like him. So I nose around, and I learn that he goes quite often to the mission where Miss Sarah Brown works. I do not believe this, and I am willing to lay more than a little 6 to 5 it is not true. So I go to the mission to see with my own eyes. Sure enough, in the mission sits the sky. I walk over to him, and the scene is as follows.
Broadway, what are you doing here?
I could ask the same question of you, Sky.
Yeah, sit down.
Here? In here?
Well, if you want to stay, sit down.
Okay.
Why'd you come here?
I hear something very funny.
Oh, about me, huh?
That is correct.
Well, it's true.
Miss Sarah Brown, huh?
Miss Sarah Brown.
She knows who you are?
No. In Broadway...
What, Sky?
If by any chance it should slip from your lips about what or who I am, I'd be very angry and take steps, you understand?
I understand.
Here she comes.
Hello there.
Good evening, Miss Brown.
How are you, Mr. Sky?
Oh, fine, just fine. Oh, this is a friend of mine. His name is Broadway.
I'm so glad, Mr. Broadway. We get so few people who come here. It's good to see a new face.
Business is not good, I take it?
No, it's not good. I guess people aren't very interested in their souls.
Maybe people don't know they have them until it's too late, huh?
You've been very kind, Mr. Sky. Your contributions have helped us so much. The new organ is you are doing.
What? Maybe I do not hear right.
You hear right.
Mr. Sky has been more than generous.
It's been more than a pleasure, Miss Brown.
Oh, please call me Sarah. And you have a first name, surely?
I... Just call me Sky. Everybody does.
But why? It's such an odd name.
Yeah, it is. Just call me that, huh?
All right.
Sarah, maybe after the mission closes, you and I... what I mean is maybe a cup of coffee.
Oh, we have coffee here. Please stay and have some.
In here?
Why not?
All right.
Well, I guess I gotta be going.
Oh, no, please, stay with us.
Yeah, stay, Broadway.
But...
Miss Brown asked you to stay, Broadway. And I'd like it very much if you did.
Good, that's settled then. And now, if you'll excuse me for a minute, I have some things to do.
I never see a doll look at me the way she looks at you, Sky.
Broadway, I've made a lot of money in my racket, but you know what?
What?
I'd be willing to drop every potato I own if I didn't get it the way I did.
Well, that is that. It is easy to see that the Sky is over the boards, but good. Every night he goes down to the mission, and every night he stays for coffee with Miss Sarah Brown. All the citizens are talking about it and are not able to figure the angle. But I know that the Sky and Miss Brown are in love. But I wonder what is going to happen when she finds out about it. I find out one night, when the Sky, me, and some of the boys are sitting in Mindy's. Suddenly, the Sky looks up and says,
Sarah! Sarah!
Yes, Sarah.
I was just coming to the mission.
I'd rather you wouldn't come there anymore.
Maybe I better leave.
No, stay, Mr. Broadway. I want to say something. Maybe you'd be interested, too.
Will you sit down, Sarah?
Yes. Yes, I will. How big a laugh have you had, Mr. Sky?
Laugh?
It was easy, wasn't it?
What do you mean?
It was so simple. I was so simple.
Oh, look, Sarah,
You were so generous to us. You were a very big man among all the little people.
Is that what you came here to say?
Not quite all. I found out tonight who you are and what you are. I wouldn't have minded knowing who. But what you are, I can't accept that.
Miss Brown, I've never cheated. I've never done anything dishonest in my life.
You waited until you found me before you became dishonest.
I am not dishonest.
I call it that, Mr. Sky. But I'm not as big a fool as you think. You thought I'd accept you because of what you've done, but I won't. I despise you. As much as I liked you before, I despise you now.
Maybe you'll tell me why.
I don't have to tell you. Your own conscience, your own soul will do that. I've had men look at me before I knew why. But they were honest men, Mr. Sky. They didn't pretend to be anything other than what they were. You did.
I gave the money because I wanted to.
I'm sorry we can't return the money you gave us. But I can ask you to stay away from the mission. And me. That's all, Mr. Sky. Goodbye.
I never hear a doll talk like that before.
I thought it was a sure thing. But it looks like I got an ear full of cider.
Well, you may think that is the end of the story, but it is not. And how it ends is something for the books. And I will tell you about it in a minute.
And now, back to the Damon Runyon Theater and the famous story, The Idyll of Miss Sarah Brown.
Well, like I am saying, Miss Sarah Brown comes into Mindy's that night and ticks off the Sky. Furthermore, she has nothing to do with him from then on. And when the Sky meets Miss Brown on the street, he keeps walking straight ahead. And she does likewise. Then one night, I accompanied the Sky to a little game at Nathan Detroit's place, where a few of the boys are playing at dice. And what happens there is something that everybody still talks about. It is like this. We walk in and watch for a couple of minutes. Then the Sky walks over to Bates, who is also watching the game. Milky and Willie has the dice, and he is rolling. The Sky says as follows to Bates.
How's he doing, Bates?
Milky, I wish I have his luck.
He's hot, huh?
Like a firecracker. 6 passes in a row.
Uh-huh. Hiya, Milky.
Ah, hello, Sky. You are going to play?
Maybe.
Stick with me and make $1 million. Here they go. That makes 7 in a row.
I wish I had your luck.
How does it happen you're not playing, Bates?
Because I have no potatoes. I am out of the lettuce. In short, I am broke. But if I had some, I would ride with Milky.
Ride with me and make $1 million. How about it, Sky, will you?
Maybe later, not now.
All right, here it goes. 6, a little 6. Easiest point to make.
He can make that without rolling the dice.
You think so, Bates?
The way he's been going, I couldn't do that to save my soul.
What did you say?
I said I couldn't do that to save my soul.
Milky.
Yeah?
Hold it a minute. Don't throw.
What? When I'm hot?
I want to get down to bet.
Sure, I tell you, ride with me and you're in.
I'll bet against you making that 6.
You will bet against my making a 3-way point?
I will.
How much?
$1,000.
I hear you right. You will bet 1,000 against my rolling a 6?
I'll bet you don't. But I'll bet against Bates.
I tell you, there's nothing in my pocket but fingers. And I'm not sure about those.
I'll bet 1,000 against your soul.
My soul?
That's right. If Milky doesn't throw a 6, I win. And your soul goes to the mission.
My what? Goes where?
Your soul goes to the mission.
Wait a minute. I do not like to have anybody's soul riding on my dice.
It's his soul, Milky. Well, Bates, what do you say? Well, Bates?
How you feel, Milky?
You better make up your mind soon before I cool off.
$1,000 against my soul. If I lose, I go to Miss Sarah Brown's mission. That it?
That's it.
Well, okay. You got a bet.
And if you lose, you better keep your bet. You got it?
We will see to it that he does not welch, Sky.
You feel all right still, Milky?
It is a 3-way point, and I feel good.
You got a bet, Sky. Go ahead, Milky. Roll 'em.
Right. Come on.
A 5. Come on, Milky.
We'll do better this time.
A 6.
Yeah.
Looks like you owe me $1,000, Sky.
There it is. Pick it up. It's yours.
I got $1,000. I will now get in the game.
That is a bad bet you made, Sky.
It's worth it. And don't forget the night is still young.
Well, like the Sky says, the night is still young. And it is not long before Bates takes the dice because now he has 1,000 potatoes. And what happens is that he hits a streak and wins. He figures it is his night, and it looks to be a fact, because he makes one pass after another. Finally, he throws a 4, which is a hard point to make. And it is at this point that he looks at the Sky and says as follows.
Sky, I will take the odds off you on this one. I know you don't want my dough. I know you only want my soul for Miss Sarah Brown. Is that right?
That's right. Why?
I am now in the money and my price goes up. Will you lay me 10,000 against my soul that I do not make this for?
It's a bet.
10 G's against his soul?
That's it, Milk Ear.
Here we go, Sky.
Look at that. He makes a 4. Double deuce.
Looks like you owe me 10,000, Sky.
So it does.
You have 10 G's, do you not?
Did anyone ever say I welched on a bet?
You're as good as Times Square.
Broadway.
Yes, Guy.
Do me a favor, will you? Run over to my hotel with this key. I'll call the clerk. Tell him to open the safe and take out my money. And you bring it over here.
Well, sure. How many potatoes you got there?
About 100,000.
100 grand.
What's your idea, Sky?
It's my idea to keep betting against anyone who wants to bet.
Who keeps the dice?
You do, Bates.
Until when?
Until I win your soul for Miss Sarah Brown, or you win all my money. Well, what do you say?
I say you got yourself a deal.
Okay. Broadway, get going.
So I get Sky's money from the hotel, and it is quite a bundle. And it is not long before news of what's going on gets around us then. And Nathan Detroit's place is packed with citizens. And the Sky is taking all bets. Every character who has a fin, a sawbuck, or a deuce is laying it on the line against the Sky. All the Sky bets for is the guy's soul. But Bates is plenty hot and never misses. It is not long before the Sky's money is down to a very thin shadow of its former self. Then the scene is as follows.
How much you got left, Sky?
I figure it, 5,000.
Wanna keep it for a stake, or...
I'll bet it.
There's only one thing wrong with that.
No? What's wrong with it?
At this point, my soul is worth more than 5 grand. It has been increasing in value right along.
What's your pitch?
I'll take the 5, and your marker for 20,000.
20 grand? Sky, you're nuts if you take that bet.
Maybe so, Milk Ear.
You'll be in the hole. You'll owe that if you lose.
I'll still take the bet.
But why? Listen, Sky...
I figure one soul sent to Miss Sarah Brown is worth it. One guy. Just one. Throw the dice, Bates.
Okay.
We watch Bates shake the dice. We know that if the Sky loses this bet, he's cooked. But I see that he is watching Bates with a funny look on his face, and he is reaching slow-like for an inside coat pocket. I back away because I want no part of fireworks. I am not able to figure what Sky is doing or what is wrong. And then Bates rolls.
A natural. A 7.
You're very lucky tonight, Bates.
Like you say, I am very lucky. You owe me 20 G's.
I owe you 20 G's. Maybe.
Huh? What do you mean, maybe?
Just that. Bates?
Good evening, everyone.
Holy cats, Miss Sarah Brown.
Good evening, Mr. Sky.
Good evening, Miss Brown.
Hey, what are you doing here? How'd you get in?
I walked in. I see almost everyone is here.
Yes, that's right.
How many souls have you won for me?
None. I seem to be about half out of luck.
I see. Don't you think you're taking too much upon yourself? I can win all the souls I need myself.
I tried to help.
In your way.
In my way.
Have you ever thought of your own soul, Mr. Sky?
Sometimes.
I see. By the way, when I heard this was going on, I wondered about something.
What?
Are you risking your soul on these bets, or just your money?
My money.
But not your soul. All right, Mr. Sky. I'll gamble with you.
What do you mean?
I know something about gambling. I should. It ruined my father and my brother. It broke my mother's heart. Yes, I know something about gambling. Will you gamble with me, Mr. Sky?
Look, Miss Brown, maybe you better go.
No. I'll gamble with you on the same terms that you gambled with everyone here. I will bet $1 against your soul. That's all I have.
$1. $1.
Shut up, Milk Ear. Miss Brown, that's a very small bet.
It's a very small soul.
Bates.
Yeah?
Give her the dice.
Huh? Hey, listen, I don't...
Bates, give her the dice.
But I'm
You heard me, Bates.
Sure, Sky. Here you are, Miss Brown.
Thank you. Do we have a bet, Mr. Sky? $1 against the life you lead. $1 against your soul. Will you keep the bet?
I never welch.
That's right, Miss Brown. He's good for it.
That is correct, Miss Brown.
All right.
Roll the dice.
11. She wins. There is a dead hush. Miss Brown looks up at the sky. The sky looks at Miss Brown with a little smile on his lips. Then he says,
I never welch on a bet.
You're a fool. You're a fool.
I love you, Miss Sarah Brown.
I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. Let me out of here. Please let me out.
Yeah, it's like I said. I'm half out of luck. But the half I've got left, it's pretty good.
well, that is that. But it is not really. The payoff comes some weeks later. And what the payoff is, I will tell you in a minute. One night I am walking down Broadway, and who do I see but the Sky? But now he is wearing a mission uniform, and he is looking happy and better than I ever see him look. He is walking with Miss Sarah Brown when he sees me. He says something to her, and she goes into a store. Then the Sky comes over to me.
Hello, Broadway.
Oh, Sky, how goes it?
Oh, fine. For the first time in my life, I'm happy, Broadway.
And Miss Brown?
She is Mrs. Sky.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks.
Bates is looking for you.
Is he? Collect his bet, I guess, huh?
It would seem to be the case.
I owe him nothing. I've got those dice we used that night, Broadway.
Huh? Wait a minute. I remember. I see you look at him funny like.
Sure.
Phony dice?
Phony dice. But Broadway,
yeah?
Don't do anything about it.
But he uses phony dice. That is a crime.
No, Broadway. You see, Mrs. Sky thinks she beat me at my own game for my soul. I wouldn't like her to think anything else. Because this time, I didn't get the ear full of cider.
And so ends the famous Damon Runyon story, The Idyll of Miss Sarah Brown. Listen in again next week to the Damon Runyon Theater. The Damon Runyon Theater with John Brown as Broadway is directed by Richard Sandville and the stories adapted for radio by Russell Hughes. This is a Mayfair production.
Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Does a ghost need money? We do know that many years ago there were a great number of intelligent and perceptive Frenchmen who were convinced of the existence of a ghost who lived in the famed Paris Opera House and needed a tremendous amount of money.
Any attempt to perform an opera will meet with disaster. If my monthly allowance of 20,000 francs is more than 10 days late. These are the words of the opera ghost.
I don't know who you are or where you are, but as the new manager of the Paris Opera, I'm telling you here and now that I pay no attention to threats or blackmail.
Our mystery drama, The Phantom of the Opera, was adapted especially for the Mystery Theater by Murray Burnett from the famous classic, and stars Court Benson and Gordon Gould. Blackmail is an ugly word. And when one of the blackmailer's victims sincerely insists that he's an angel, while another swears he's a devil, and still others are convinced he's a ghost, the problem of dealing with him becomes Herculean.
My name is Robert Groen. I'm a 38-year-old bachelor. Music is my life and my love. And it was all I needed until now. Now I'm driven to tell this story, which happened exactly as I will describe it to you. It started on the day when I took over the management of the great Paris Opera House from the elderly and famous René Castelot.
And last, Robert, but certainly not least, is this contract.
A contract in a memorandum book? Why, René?
Because that's the way the ghost wants it.
I never knew that the revered opera manager René Castelot had such a delightful sense of humor. Contract with a ghost? Surely you're not serious?
The opera ghost professes to be primarily concerned that the management give to every performance the splendor that belongs on what he calls the premier lyric stage of France.
And of course this ghost will be the sole judge of the artistic splendor of a performance?
Of course. However, there are two other conditions on which he places equal importance. Any attempt to perform an opera will meet with disaster if my allowance of 20,000 francs a month is more than 10 days late.
Well, let me see. That monthly figure would amount to 240,000 francs a year. And this joker has further conditions?
Oh, yes. If you'll allow me. Box 5 on the grand tier shall be placed at my disposal for every performance.
Oh, surely you don't mean to tell me that you took these ridiculous demands seriously?
I observed them scrupulously.
You never defied him or threatened to have him arrested?
How does one arrest a ghost?
Well, when he comes to take his seat in Box 5.
He never occupied Box 5.
And you still kept it vacant?
Certainly.
Well, you won't find me wasting a box that way. I intend to sell it.
Well, that's your privilege as the new manager. But if you'll take my advice, you'll never sell Box 5.
I didn't know whether to laugh at Castelot's foolishness or to cry because such a brilliant impresario had obviously fallen victim to some hoax. However, more immediate problems were demanding my attention. My soprano sent word that she was too ill to appear that evening in the role of Marguerite in Faust. I replaced her with a young girl named Christine Donat, who, to mine and everyone else's amazement, gave a performance which brought down the house. I thought you were in Chartres with your brother.
I was until I heard that Christine was to sing tonight, and then I rushed to Paris. Forgive my rudeness. I mean to congratulate you upon your appointment as the manager of the opera. Now I must congratulate you on choosing Christine. I never heard her sing like this before.
Oh, have I? What a triumph! Look at her. She seems quite overcome.
Overcome? Nothing. She's ill. She's fainted.
I led Paul Duran quickly backstage to Christine Donat's dressing room. A crowd had gathered outside her door. I made my way through with Paul by my side. I opened the door and saw that the house physician was by her side. To my surprise, Paul Duran walked swiftly to the couch on which Christine was lying and knelt down beside her. She turned her head, opened her eyes and said,
Monsieur, who are you?
Mademoiselle, when we were little children playing together at Perrault, I was the little boy who went into the sea to rescue your scarf.
Well, how amusing, Monsieur.
Mademoiselle, since it pleases you not to recognize me, I should like to say something to you in private. Something very important.
When I'm better, please. And now I should very much like to be alone. I want all of you to go away. Please.
I wasn't aware that you knew Christine.
Oh, I've known her for a long time, Robert. Ever since we were children.
But we are no longer children, my friend. So why should we hang about outside her dressing room door like a pair of...
And I know her well enough to understand that she asked to be alone because she wanted the chance to talk to me privately.
I didn't get that impression. But if you're convinced...
Look, I'll prove it to you. Come on, let's go back and knock at her door, and you'll see.
I don't know what you want of me.
Oh, she seems to have someone in there with her.
But that's impossible. We saw everyone leave when we did.
Christine, you must love me.
I do. You know I sing only for you.
Nevertheless, someone must have stayed behind. Maybe we can learn something.
I do not listen at doors. I'm going in.
No. Wait. For my sake.
Are you very tired?
Tonight I gave you my soul, and I am exhausted.
Your soul is beautiful, child, and I thank you. The angels wept tonight.
I must go home.
Of course.
They're sure to catch us eavesdropping.
No. Come here. Quickly. They'll never see us in this corner.
She's alone. There's no one with her. He must have remained in her dressing room.
And she didn't lock her door.
I'm going in and find out who was with her. Are you with me?
Of course, Paul. Come on. There's no light in here.
He must be hiding. Strike a match, please. Hiding isn't going to help you. We know you're here. We heard you. Now come out.
Can you see anyone?
No. Well, he must be here somewhere, and we'll find him wherever he's hiding. You may as well come out now and save us trouble. I intend to find out who you are.
There's no one here, and no place to hide. We're talking to the walls.
Robert, you know my family goes back to the days of Napoleon, and I'm sure you feel I lied to you when I said I knew Christine Donat. Certainly you had every right.
What's this about Donat?
Well, this letter will prove to you that I wasn't lying. You see, she says right here, I have not forgotten the little boy who went into the sea to rescue my scarf.
Then you know where she is.
Of course. She is in Perrault, and she is inviting me there, too, because it is the anniversary of her father's death. Her father and I were friends.
Do you mind if I go with you?
How do you know I am going?
Oh, don't talk nonsense. You're going because you're in love. And I'm going to bring back a singing sensation who hasn't been heard since the night of her triumph.
So you came after all. I was thinking while I was at Mass, will he come and will he remember the Inn of the Setting Sun?
You knew I would come. And you knew I would remember, Christine. Oh, I also brought Monsieur Grand.
Well, how nice, but why did you...
I am here to ask you to return to the opera, mademoiselle, and to ask you to sing other roles.
Well, you will have to excuse me, Monsieur Grand, but I cannot talk of singing other roles now.
But I have come all this way, mademoiselle, just to...
I did not ask you to come. Or you either, Paul.
You asked me to come, Christine. You knew your letter would bring me here to Perrault as surely as the sun shines.
Well, that may have been a mistake on my part.
There was no point in my remaining, as it was obvious that there was a lover's quarrel brewing. So I told Paul he could find me in my room. What you hear now is what Paul told me happened after I left them in the sitting room.
Why do you say mistake, Christine?
I don't know. When I wrote the letter, I was thinking of my childhood and my father and the games we played as children. I think I wrote to you as the little girl I was then and not the woman I am now.
When I came to you in your dressing room the other night, was that the first time you noticed me?
No. I'd seen you in your box. I knew you were in the audience.
Oh, good. Then why, when you saw me in the dressing room and I reminded you about the scarf, why did you pretend not to know me and laugh at me? All right. I know it was because there was someone in your dressing room, Christine.
What are you talking about?
The man to whom you said, I sing only for you tonight. I give you my soul and I am exhausted.
You were listening at the door. That's the most...
I listened, Christine, because I love you. Yes, I heard everything.
All right, Paul. Tell me what else you heard.
I heard him reply that your soul is beautiful, child, and I thank you. The angels wept tonight.
Oh, Paul, you should not have heard that. You shouldn't. You shouldn't.
And where is Christine now?
Oh, I assume she went to her room. She ran from me, Robert. Why would she run from me?
Don't ask me to explain why women do the things they do. Why would she flee the opera after the triumph she had?
There must be some explanation. There must be.
I can give you one you won't like. The voice we heard was the voice of Christine's lover. He didn't know about you, nor were you aware of his existence. She ran away to try to get things straightened out. That's why she wrote you. She knew you'd come here, and she'd be able to speak to you away from her lover.
I won't believe it. Don't forget, we checked, and there was no one in her dressing room.
And don't forget, we both distinctly heard a man's voice. He had to be her lover.
Or someone who's been giving you problems, Monsieur Manager. Someone who calls himself the Opera Ghost.
At this point, I think I can say that I've become an authority on ghosts and their habits. Now, I've heard of ghosts who clank, ghosts who moan, ghosts who scream, wail, and even gnash their teeth. But this is the first time I've encountered a lovesick ghost who's also an opera lover. I'll be back shortly with Act 2. From time immemorial, out-of-the-way places have been favorite meeting spots for young lovers. And when a quarrel interrupts the course of true love, it's a common occurrence to find one of the unhappy pair sitting and waiting at their favorite trysting place, certain that the other must turn up. A cemetery, however, would seem a most unlikely place for a girl to expect to find her lover.
Christine.
I knew you'd come to pay your respects to my father at his grave, Paul. And I waited here to tell you something very serious. Paul, do you remember the Angel of Music?
Oh, yes. Your father never told a story without mentioning him. I remember him saying that at least once in every great musician's life, the artist receives a visit from the angel.
Yes. And sometimes, Paul, the angel leans over an infant's cradle, and that infant then has heard the angel, and the infant becomes a child prodigy.
I remember.
And when I asked Father if he had ever heard the Angel of Music himself, he shook his head sadly. But Paul, he told me that I would hear the angel one day. He said, when I'm in heaven, I shall send him to you. Paul, I have been visited by the Angel of Music.
I don't doubt it.
How is it that today you understand so well?
You forget that I've heard you sing many times. And I never heard you sing the way you sang the other night. You were touched by genius.
Yes, the Angel of Music. He comes every day to give me lessons in my dressing room.
In your dressing room? The Angel of Music. What does he look like?
You should know better than to ask that, Paul. I've never seen him. I only hear his voice. He speaks to me, and it's like in a dream.
Are you sure you didn't dream all of this, Christine?
How could I? I'm not the only one who heard the voice of the angel.
Someone else has heard this voice?
You, Paul. It was his voice you heard when you listened outside my dressing room door.
Oh, Christine, you needn't have gone to such an elaborate lie to try to deceive me about the voice I heard.
You think I lied?
After all, I know what I heard.
I'm beginning to understand. You think that was a real man's voice. Well, if you had opened the door, you would have seen that there was no one in my dressing room.
After you left, I did open the door, and there was no one there.
And you still don't believe...
I do not.
Oh, how could I have ever loved you? Go away. I never want to see you again.
The return trip to Paris wasn't pleasant. Paul Duren wanted so desperately to believe that his darling Christine was the victim of some cruel hoax, while I was convinced that Christine was an artful minx who was trying to keep two men on the string. This belief was strengthened by a telephone call I received the following day at my office. Grand speaking.
Carlotta Sorelli.
Oh, good day, madame. What can I do today for my beautiful prima donna?
First, my dear Monsieur Grand, you must learn that I am not a woman easily intimidated.
I'm sure you're not. But why do you call me?
I intend to sing the role of Marguerite in Faust Thursday night.
Well, of course you do. Why would you call and tell me what has already been announced?
Because of a note I received this morning. It reads, "If you dare to appear as Marguerite next Thursday evening, be prepared for a gigantic misfortune."
Oh, a prank. A jokester. Surely you're not going to take that seriously?
That's exactly what I called to tell you. And I'm pleased you're taking it so well. Even if I were dying, I would sing the role of Marguerite next Thursday night.
Before that Thursday night, I had to face the problem of the first masked ball to be held in the Opera House under my direction. This was to be a truly gala affair, with everyone in fancy dress. I knew from experience that every artist would be there, hoping to meet and fascinate a masked member of the upper crust. I, of course, attended unmasked.
Robert! Robert!
Oh, Paul! Is that you behind this black domino?
Yes.
I suppose you're seeking Christine, hoping to discover what masquerade she uses tonight.
I don't have to hope. My Christine is behind that white domino over there, and we have a tryst in box 17 on the Grand Tier at midnight.
Ah, and you're no longer concerned about that voice you heard in her dressing room?
In her note making this assignation, she as much as admitted that she'd made a dreadful mistake about that voice.
I see.
Monsieur Directeur.
What?
When Sorelli fails to appear for Faust next Thursday, you replace her with the magnificent Christine.
Who said that? It came from the white domino.
Nonsense. Christine is wearing the white domino.
Then Christine is using some trick to make sure she sings Marguerite again.
There's where it came from. From the center of that crowd. The man in the scarlet cape and the death's head mask.
You think so?
Yeah, well, it's almost positive. Come, let's unmask him.
Read what it says on his cloak. Don't touch me, for I am the Red Death stalking abroad.
You see? Hold that man in the scarlet cloak. Quickly, after him. Stop him.
No, don't touch him. He wears the mask of death.
Who was that man? Why did you tell everyone not to touch him?
Please, Paul. Please keep your voice down. You shouldn't have come here.
All right, but you were the one who asked me to meet you here in this box on the Grand Tier, remember?
I know, but that was before you started to chase the Red Death mask.
And why did you stop us? What is that masquerader to you?
Maybe nothing, maybe everything. Oh, Paul, you were right. The voice I hear is not an angel, but a human voice.
Belonging to...
I don't know. I still haven't seen him.
But what made you change your mind about the angel of music?
Because he forbade me to see you.
How did he know about me?
I told him. The first time I saw you in your box, I rushed back to my dressing room. The voice immediately noticed that I was elated, and when he asked me why, I saw no reason not to tell him about you.
Yes, and?
The voice spoke to me with great sadness and said that if I were to give my heart on earth, there was nothing for the angel of music to do but go back to heaven and leave me without any more lessons. And that was a thought I couldn't bear. I knew what the lessons had done for me in a few weeks' time.
How did the voice do this? What is the secret?
Believe me when I tell you I wondered myself. I even thought perhaps there might be witchcraft involved.
Oh, ridiculous. You could never be caught up with the forces of evil.
Well, then what is the voice?
A man... someone who...
Yes?
I confess, I am jealous. That's why I stopped. There is no angel of music, but there is a man. A man who must love you and want you as I want you. And I mean to find out who he is.
No, you mustn't. That's why I had to see you tonight, to warn you. Promise me that you...
I'll promise nothing. I am not afraid of this voice, even if you are.
Paul, you must listen and try to hear how I discovered the voice was human. Listen, and if I have any power to transmit emotion, you will hear him as I heard him, and you will know why I'm frightened.
You have lied to me, my child, because you love Paul Durand.
Why should my love for Paul distress you so?
I have already told you. If you love him, then you do not believe in me. Believe in me, my child. Whoso believes in me shall live and sing. Whoso believeth in me shall also reach the heights. But I shall bring down those who oppose me, all of them. And don't think Eric cannot do that.
Eric? That's your name, then. You're not...
Your angel of music? Most certainly, my child. I have proven that to you. I am your angel, Christine. But I warn you that I have an evil side, and I have power. How is it that Sorelli fell ill the other night? How does it happen that all the directors of the opera have taken orders from me?
Who are you? And why did you choose me as a pupil?
Because of your purity, child, and your beauty, your gracious beauty.
Where are you?
Here.
This is a childish game you're playing. Let me see you.
Never. The day you see my face will be doomsday for you, me, and everyone connected with the opera. And let me repeat my warning. If you want Paul Durand to live, you'll be very careful about seeing him.
Who are you to give me orders?
I rule here. The opera house is my kingdom. And all of you are my subjects.
Paul, dearest, did I succeed at all in recreating the power of that voice and the terror he inspired in me?
Whoever or whatever he is, he must be completely mad.
Perhaps, but nevertheless he does have power.
What does it matter? You've told me that you love me, and now all you have to do is leave the opera, marry me, and we'll go away together.
I cannot. I dare not.
That's the most fantastic tale I've ever heard, Paul. And you believe it?
Every word.
It's obvious that someone doesn't want Sorelli to sing Marguerite tonight. This whole rigmarole of not seeing the voice, this nonsense, I don't believe.
Then what do you intend to do about that note?
It was Sorelli's decision to ignore this second threat, and my decision to ignore the opera ghost. I ask you to join me tonight in Box 5 on the Grand Tier, where we will both enjoy a marvelous performance of Faust. The first act of Faust went very well, and as the curtain fell for the intermission, I allowed myself to relax in Box 5, where I was sitting with Paul. Well, Paul, what do you say now? Do you still think we could have used the police?
The police would have been useless, Monsieur Grand.
Did you say that, Paul?
I didn't say a word.
But you heard it. Tell me you heard it.
Yes, I did hear it. Where is that voice coming from?
Not from this box. We're alone in it.
You are not alone.
This is box 5, my box.
Show yourself, whoever you are.
I must leave now because the house lights are dimming for the second act. And there will be a terrible calamity.
Now listen, you...
Raise your eyes to heaven and see and pray.
The voice is coming from our left, 2 boxes down.
No, I thought it was on the right. The lights are dimming.
The chandelier! Look, Robert, what's swaying? It's going to fall right into the orchestra! Look out!
A natural accompaniment of any catastrophe is an attempt to discover the cause. And so it was with the collapse of the chandelier in the Paris Opera House. The newspapers speculated wildly as to the possible cause of the fall. But strangely, there was not one word printed about the opera Ghost. I'll be back with Act 3. No opera manager ever faced the problems that beset Robert Grand, newly appointed director of the Paris Opera House. How does one deal with something that no one has ever seen, but whose voice has been heard and whose presence has been accepted as a fact by opera workers and by your predecessor? A thing that called itself the Opera Ghost, and who took credit for the catastrophic fall of the great chandelier which took the lives of 3 people and injured many more. Robert Grand made his decision.
If I can have your attention, ladies and gentlemen, please, I will explain the reason I summoned you to my office. I have decided to make my peace with the Opera Ghost. This envelope on my desk will be placed in box 5 on the grand tier at tonight's performance. It contains the 20,000 francs which the ghost, or whatever he is, demands monthly. But I intend to reassign your locations so that box 5 will not be unwatched by less than 3 pairs of eyes for 1 single second. And I insist on an immediate report to me when and if you see anyone entering or leaving box 5. Robert Grand.
Where have you been, Robert? I've called your home, your club, even the Café de l'Opéra, and I could not reach you.
Is it something important?
Your ghost bleeds, Robert. Your opera ghost bleeds. Real blood.
Are you drunk or just raving?
And if he bleeds, as I know he does, then he's no ghost at all, but real flesh and blood. Isn't that so, Robert?
What are you talking about? What makes you so certain that he bleeds?
Because I've shot him. Yes. Come to my apartment. I'll show you the blood
Robert, you're here. And now I will free you from your ghost forever. I've already called the police. Here, come, let me show you the balcony.
I don't want to see anything until you calm down and explain what happened.
His eyes. You have to see those eyes to understand, Robert. You have to see them.
Are you trying to tell me the ghost was here?
Exactly. And I know how to get him here. I played on his weakness, Robert. His human weakness. His love for Christine. I told you that, but you wouldn't listen.
I can't make head or tail out of what you're trying to tell me. Now, I'm willing to listen, but only if you calm down.
All right. All right, Robert. Everything I suspected is true. Now, I'll try to give you an exact picture of what happened. It started when I saw Christine yesterday.
Where?
At her mother's. She didn't go to the opera. I went to tell her mother that I wanted to marry her and take her away.
What did Christine think about this?
Yes, she was frightened, terrified by this man posing as a ghost. Well, I left after telling her I would expose him. And I came home here, and it was very late, and prepared to go to bed. Come, let me show you. Let me show you my bedroom. Oh, I'll admit that my mind was filled with wild thoughts that night. Well, I turned out the light, and as I climbed into bed, suddenly At the foot of my bed, I saw 2 eyes, red and glowing like coals, just the eyes. I switched on the light, leapt out of bed. The room was empty, but I saw a shadow on the balcony. I ran to the bureau, opened the drawer, and took out this revolver. And I fired twice. You see? Look, here. There are 2 empty chambers in my gun. Huh? Now, come to the balcony, and I'll show you the blood.
Where the door's open?
Yes, of course. Here. Now, look. Is that blood?
Yes, it is blood.
Yes, of course. Now, a ghost who bleeds can be found. A wounded ghost can be traced, huh? Well?
I see the blood. I also see a cat.
No, there was no cat.
Not on the balcony, but limping along the roof, trying to find a gutter to climb down. Oh, my dear Paul, I don't know about the eyes you think you saw glaring at you, but I'm afraid you've shot a cat. The next 48 hours will live forever in my memory. I expected that the envelope containing the 20,000 francs which I had left in the well-guarded Box 5 would somehow disappear. It did. But as I also feared, all 3 persons assigned to watch the box swore no one had entered or left the box. Far more disturbing was an unannounced visit from a dangerously quiet Paul Duren on the following day.
Robert, I need your help.
Of course, Paul, I'll do anything in my power. But don't you think that you'd better see a physician?
Christine Donat will be appearing tonight in Faust.
Yes, but not in the leading role. I've decided...
That's not important. I think you should know, Robert, that she's agreed to go away with me. My carriage and coachman will be at the stage door promptly at 11. What I need from you is a way that she can slip out unobserved.
Well, the whole backstage is honeycombed with trap doors, but I don't know any that would lead out of the opera house itself. Perhaps René Castello might. He was the manager for 17 years before he retired.
I'd appreciate it if you check with him, and also one other favor. I don't want to be seen myself. I wonder if you'd be kind enough to let me use your office tonight while the performance is in progress?
Certainly. But isn't this flight a sudden decision?
It's the only way. I've spoken with Christine, and she agrees that our only hope lies in getting out of Paris, even out of France.
That may be wisest. But why leave from here?
Christine absolutely refuses to give up tonight's performance. Not only does she feel obligated to you, but she also believes that Eric would somehow find out that she wasn't going to appear.
Yes, she may have a point. The opera ghost, or Eric, as you call him, seems to know more about what goes on than I do. We'll meet back here in my office at 8 sharp.
May I thank you, Monsieur Castello, for taking the trouble to come here to tell me about the special exit.
It hasn't been used in years, but I think the door still works.
What time is it?
Oh, relax. It's only 9:40. Plenty of time.
She's disappeared.
What?
What's happened?
I'd better get out and see what's happening. I'll be right back.
Something.
My God, there must have been another accident.
From my experience, it sounds like something's happened on stage.
Paul! I have terrible news, Paul. Christine has disappeared.
Oh, no, that's impossible.
That was the reason for the commotion. In the middle of a scene, she seemed to be lifted straight up into the air and then disappeared as the lights went out.
Christine, my love, please tell me you're not hurt.
Who are you? And why are you masked?
Oh, I'm sorry that I was so clumsy and made you strike your head when I...
Eric, what have you done?
Only what you made me do, Christine. I told you that if you'd continue to see Paul Durand, things would end badly.
Where am I?
In my house.
It's my dearest wish that you'll grow to like it.
You intend to keep me here?
I cannot allow you to run off with Paul Duran as you planned.
But they will look for me.
And they will not find you. Have they ever found me? Why do you cry? You know it pains me to see you cry. I would never keep you here against your will, but I warn you, if you leave, you'll sign Paul Duran's death warrant.
You're afraid even to let me look at your face.
Careful, Christine.
But I will tear that mask off.
You're in no danger, Christine. I will not hurt you, so long as you do not touch the mask.
And you expect me to believe that?
You have no better friend in the world than myself.
It took all the strength that both I and Rene Costello possessed to hold Paul Duran in his chair in my office after he learned of Christine's disappearance.
This would never have happened if I hadn't asked her to come away with me.
I'm convinced she's still in the opera house. I've seen the thing, whatever it is that calls itself the Opera Ghost.
Where? When?
Why didn't you tell us before?
I tried to warn you.
Well, never mind that. Where is he? And where is Christine?
Well, I can tell you what I suspect. About a year ago, I worked late, and I decided to go backstage. There was only a work light, and as I stumbled around in the dark, I suddenly felt myself falling, and I landed in some sort of tunnel under the stage. Someone caught my arm and broke my fall, and a voice said, "Careful." I looked around and saw only two fiery red eyes glaring at me out of a mask.
The same eyes I saw.
Although I was afraid, I asked the apparition his name, and he laughed and said, "I am Eric, and you've invaded my domain. But since it was an accident, there will be no punishment this time. But, Mr. Manager, I warn you, Eric's secrets must remain Eric's secrets."
Whatever that may have meant.
Well, after the meeting, I was convinced that Eric, or the Opera Ghost, lived or haunted the subterranean cellars and caverns beneath the opera.
Incredible.
I investigated all the trapdoors, looking for the one through which I'd fallen. And one day, I found it. I'll show you where it is. And here is the key to Eric's house, where I believe you'll find Christine Donat.
Wait. I see something. It's a door. Robert, we found it. We found his house. What's the matter?
I just remembered what Rene said about the key and opening the door.
Well, you can do as you like, but I am going in.
What's the matter?
I don't know. It's tricky.
Maybe it's the wrong key.
No, it fits, but the tumblers seem to be stuck.
Paul, is that you?
Yes, Christine, it's me.
I must be dreaming.
No, it's no dream. Can you help me open the door?
He's tied me up.
Damn him. Oh, Christine, oh, my darling, what has he done to you?
I'm all right, but untie me quickly.
Yes.
We must get out of here before he comes back.
Where are we going?
As high up as we can get. Faster, Paul, faster.
Shouldn't we have tried to get out?
We don't have time. He's due back at 11.
We're trapped.
No, push this door. It opens onto the roof. The sky, the blessed sky, and the stars.
It is only up there on the stars that you can escape me.
Eric!
Show your face, you coward. Where are you?
Look for me. Behind all the smokestacks, but you won't find me.
You're a coward. You're a liar.
You think so? Then I show myself. Here. Here I am.
At last.
Here. I raise my mask a little. Only a little, but you can see my lips. Such lips as I have. And let you hear my voice.
You're a coward. Show your full face.
My face, you shall see my face.
and then you shall die.
No, Eric, I beg you.
My face that even the mother who bore me wouldn't bear to look at. Here, now, look at my face.
Good Lord in heaven.
You wanted to see it. You wanted to see a face without a nose, with dead eyes, and the lips of a corpse. Now, look. As I come closer, the horror that is my face will drive you over the edge.
Oh, my poor Eric.
Christine, you're crying, you're weeping. And for me, a woman, a beautiful woman, weeps for me.
If it were tears you wanted, you could have showed your face, and the world would have wept for you.
I set you free, and in freeing you, I free myself. Here, I leave you my mask.
Eric, don't jump!
I love you, Christine, as no other man could ever have loved you.
Even today, there are those people who say that the Phantom of the Opera was a ghost, that the story of Eric was manufactured to appease a frightened public. There are others who say it never happened, and perhaps it didn't. But to those who say it never happened, I say, perhaps not. But it could have. I'll be back shortly. In looking back over the story of the opera Ghost, I think I've made a discovery of some importance. If you recall, Eric, or the Ghost, wrote threatening letters to the manager of the opera house when he felt slighted. He also wrote contracts in red ink in a memorandum book. Now, if he really were a ghost, and he did write these documents, could we say that he was the first ghost writer? Our cast included Gordon Gould, Court Benson, Carol Teitel, and Paul Hecht. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown.
This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Next time, pleasant dreams.